got to be knowing about people. Gotta reach them, see it right down.
Megyn Kelly investigated. She's just investigate Obama, Hillary, as well as John Comey and Brennan, and jail them if guilty. Fight lawfare with lawfare. Now, what do you think of that?
Well, you know, when I was running for U.S. Senate, every night, every day, 3 or 4 times a day, when I was giving my stump speech, I'd say the reason why people have lost confidence in politics, lost confidence not just in the Democrats, but in the Republicans and the whole system, is that nobody is ever held accountable. I mean, people that walked in through open doors being held open for them by Capitol Police and walked through the velvet ropes and fist pumped cops and sang the national anthem, they went to prison.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 16 years of broadcast excellence, now in our 17th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. So how do we solve the lawfare Dems use to get Trump and almost throw him in jail? Megyn Kelly's idea is to use real laws and our Constitution to investigate real crimes. Crimes against people whose lives were ruined by what we know as 1/6ers. Mark McCloskey represents the poor souls jailed without trials, welcomed into the Capitol by D.C. cops, many of whom high-fived them and accompanied on little tours when the signal went out. Rubber bullets shot into the crowds, little explosive gas bombs with severe injury to the crowds by the Capitol Police. Even if you didn't breach the Capitol or went into it to peacefully find a toilet, then walk out, you were subject to the FBI coming to your home, no matter where, with helicopters, tanks, to dragging 4-year-olds out with their rifles pointed at them, lighting them up as targets against their tiny chests. Crimes worse than Russia. We need to fix this or we lose America.
Nancy Pelosi, Mark Milley can commit treason. The FBI and the Department of Justice can weaponize the departments against the President of the United States and against his party. Wiretap his campaign headquarters. What was Watergate about, right? Watergate was about some idiot burglars allegedly trying to bug Democratic headquarters. Here we have the United States of America on completely false pretenses, bugging the campaign headquarters of the Republican candidate for president. Nobody's going to jail. I mean, yeah. And you know, the first time around, Trump said, "Oh, you know, we're just going to give Hillary a bye, give her a pass. We'll just move forward." Well, you saw how that worked out.
Okay, we're here on the show. The show's opening, and we've got lots of great people to interview today. But before that, say hello to my producer, JP Maxwell. Hi, JP. How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. Doing good.
Good. And my wife is not here yet, but let's thank Rick Henderson, who is out there in Salem and does all the clips and the bits and does a great job with them. We're going to interview today JJ Bradshaw, Chris Adamo, Bill Hardwick, Bob Willis, and Mark and Pat McCloskey. So and McCloskey's becoming a real classic here because, if somehow he can't seem to get it out to the mainstream media that he has absolute proof of the insurrection done not by MAGAs, but by the Biden administration, causing all sorts of havoc in America. It's unfair, and we need to answer with it. And I believe Megyn Kelly is correct when she says we need to put these people under real laws with real trials. So, it looks like we're going to have a great show today. And if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700 as a little bit of not a great thing, but, every once in a while the rabbi has to take a day off. So he's taking today off. And he'll be back next week. And they're like in a period over there where it's like they're close to the end of the war, but sometimes those things take a long time. Hamas still won't give back the hostages. Why do they have hostages at this point? Does anyone know? What's the purpose of it? They know that they're going to continue to shoot and find Hamas until they produce the hostages. They think there's 10 alive and 10 dead. I mean, Jews aren't even going to kill you for 10 hostages. They just want them back so they can bury them properly. And the brain, I don't know how the brains operate with people in Hamas as to, it's just a death cult. They'd rather die than return hostages. Is that it? Well, if so, I believe we're right to do it. We're not right probably to kill babies, but don't put your babies under hospitals or under military activity. So, all right.
Well, and not to say that it's been proven that the Israeli Defense Force has given the civilians in Gaza plenty of notice before they strike, trying to make sure they have a chance to get out as well.
Who does that? Did we do that in Germany? Did Japan do that with us? Did we do that in Japan? We dropped 2 nukes on Japan, killing hundreds and thousands of people. And were we wrong to do that? You know what? They attacked us like Pearl Harbor, about 1,300 dead, complete surprise. We were negotiating with them at the time and thought it was being done in goodwill, and they attacked us out of nowhere. And same thing happened in Israel, in Gaza. Jews, but they're losing 1,300 in one day. Not to minimize anyone's life, but it's a lot different than losing 1,300 people in a country that had about over 300 million people at the time. Jews number about 10 million. In Israel, actually a couple of thousand of those are actually Muslims and Druze. And a lot of them fight for Israel. A lot of the Muslims there and Druze, they pick up a gun and go defend Israel. How's that? So let's, until JJ makes it, and he'll be here in about a minute or less. And he's going to have, as always, a lot of great stuff. Did cloud seeding cause the Texas disaster? What do you think? I think it might have. I think they had a guy on there who claims he owns that business, and he was doing some seeding there before the floods. And he's not admitting any guilt or anything, But the maps show that this was a shocker, that this spread out, and you could see that it spread out all along the coast there and just nailed that place in Texas. Well, looky here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a special treat. We have an expert of the Constitution and of current events. He's especially effective in free speech and the right to have guns. And he is 357 years old. It's getting hard to remember those big numbers like that, but he is a smart man, and he's been with me for about almost 17 years. Please welcome all the way from Rolla, Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw.
Thank you, Dave.
How are you?
You know, Dave, I couldn't be better.
Good.
They keep drowning you and I in stuff. There's so much stuff flying here.
Yeah, I know.
It becomes difficult to pick out what is important enough to talk about. In your monologue, you mentioned Gaza and the Israelis. You know, they have been banging Syria fairly well. Damascus has been getting it from the Israelis. So let's talk about Middle Eastern power for a minute. You know, the Middle East for decades, under a series of presidents, weak presidents on our part, has just been a mess. These people have been fighting each other since time immemorial, and along comes Donald J. Trump and a fellow named Benjamin Netanyahu, both very strong leaders, and two guys that get along pretty well. You can bet that they have conversations on the phone fairly often. And look what's happening. Look what's happening in the Middle East. When you get a strong America, when you get a strong Israel, people start vying for peace. Now, Hamas is an exception. They're insane. And I'm afraid there's not a lot can be done with them except perhaps annihilate them. But the rest of the folks, the neighbors of Israel, it is likely they're going to sign up the Abraham Accords. This is unheard of.
It's already in the works.
It is in the works. And that's what happens when you deal from a position of power, which Netanyahu has and Trump has. You notice that the Europeans are starting to fall in behind Trump because they realize they spot a winner when they see one.
They're also a little nervous about Russia right now, too.
Say that again, please.
A little bit nervous about Russia right now, too.
Well,
in Europe.
You know, I think Putin and Trump are playing a little game of chicken. Do I think it will go nuclear? No, I think both of them are smart enough that they won't get close to that. You know, part of the issue there, Ukraine was invaded and Crimea was invaded by Russia because of weak leadership in this country. The Obamas and the Bidens, I mean, talk about limp-wristed morons. Their foreign policy was a disaster.
It was what they wanted it to be.
When Biden comes back and says, "Oh, invade a little bit,"
just
are you kidding me? What is wrong with you? Yeah,
we're finding out
a little bit of invasion wouldn't be a bad
pen
thing.
note by pen note, automatic pen note by automatic pen note. We're finding out what's wrong with this guy.
Where did the Democrats get these clowns? So we're coming out of a foreign policy that's been a disaster. And Donald Trump is turning this back around. This is what happens when you have strength. The man is not afraid to say what he thinks, and he's not afraid to take action on it. Take a look at the tariffs. All the economists, the mainstream economists anyway, the ones that you will read about in CNN, say, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster. It's going to be hyperinflation. We're going to go into recession, blah, 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 blah. And then you look at the data and none of that's happening.
Well, and these guys are showing us results of the polls. You're talking about CNN, and they're actually showing in mystery how Trump is actually going up still at this point, even with all the crap they're spreading. And they're getting there nowhere. They're now down to 19% support.
I actually have some data about that.
And they've got nobody leading them. Nobody.
Well, the Dems don't have a plan. Since you have segued into that, I'll spit out the data that I have. CNN's chief data analyst, a fellow named Harry Enton, quoted a CNN poll in March that had the Dems at 29%. Then CNN did another poll with Quinnipiac, congressional Democrats' approval among Democratic voters now. These are the people that actually go to the polls, 39% approval. Disapproval, 52% in that same Quinnipiac poll released this last Monday. They're down 12 points. We're talking 12 points in the red for Democrats overall amongst Democrat voters. This is not amongst the man in the street. This is amongst people that are likely to vote in the election. This is a disaster for them.
Yeah.
Now, let's turn this around and take a look at the Republican approval rate. Amongst likely voters in the Republican polls, Trump is at 90%.
Yeah.
90%. No president has done that in recent history. Even the people that don't like this guy appreciate what he's doing for our country. I certainly do. I don't particularly like the guy, but I certainly support him. Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the
welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It turns out, again, another CNN poll amongst 1,057 voters, 6 in 10 of those voters said most Republicans and Democrats in Congress do not deserve re-election.
Yeah.
Recall that we have midterms coming up here pretty soon.
What are they running on? What do they have?
Nothing.
Anything?
That's the issue. The Republicans actually have a recent track record that they can go by.
They've got a great track record, and they were put in office to do exactly what they're doing, and they're
absolutely
doing
right.
it at record speed.
And
so
the trouble is, Dave, that the Democrats have nothing to run on. They're still singing that Orange Man Bad song.
Yeah, and they still want men to be playing in girls' sports. How does that work?
Talk about getting behind the wrong side of an argument and then sticking with it. The killer of this thing is they've been doing this so badly for the last year, and they're not changing. They're sticking with this same old song and dance.
The only thing they can do is turn around and say, "Yeah, well, Trump is doing it right, and we're going to do it better," and then explain how that's going to happen.
Yeah, please tell me how that's going to happen. I'd like to see the plan on that. These folks actually have nothing, and even the clown James Carville, who I got to admit, I read his stuff because he's a lunatic.
Well, he's funny.
But he's on target for some of this stuff, is telling the Democrat leadership, what is the matter with you people?
Yeah.
Anyone that's conscious is able to see that you're on the wrong side of this stuff. And yet here you go again and again and again. You march out clowns like Kamala Harris and expect her to say something sensible. Please, let's look at the other folks in the Congress. I don't even remember the names anymore, but the black woman that is absolutely nuts, not Maxine Water, the younger one.
Crockett.
Where in the hell did you get this person from? And why are you allowing her in front of a camera?
She's out of Texas.
I understand that her own staff thinks she's a nut job. How?
Yeah.
How do you people do this? How can you, in good conscience, parade these morons out in front of us and say, this is your new leadership? Oh, please.
Well, how do you get people? I understand they're morons, but how do you get average Americans, some of whom actually like these people better than Trump? And it's not because they like them. It's because if Trump solved cancer tomorrow, they'd hate him for it.
They still wouldn't like him. That's absolutely right.
It's so ridiculous. You can't even argue with them.
If Donald Trump turned water into wine tomorrow, they would still hate him, okay? Orange Man bad. But this is all they have, Dave. I know. Expecting them to parade out something.
Because they're getting physical. They're getting to the point where they want to attack us physically. They're attacking ICE all over the country, and that's got to stop. They got to put a stop to that.
That's going to stop.
And they're claiming that we're stealing people and all that, and it's just they have chosen a road that leads to war, and it might be with each other, and it just might be a civil war.
Maybe.
And a lot of them are also scared to death, like people in Congress who have committed crimes, who know they got them. They've got these guys, and they're just starting to indict them and things like that.
Adam
Comey
Schiff comes to mind.
Yeah, and Brennan and Adam Schiff. Yeah, all these
And
people know
Comey.
they're under the gun.
The list is
They're
fairly
pushing
long.
for this to cloud up their situation.
You said in your monologue that instead of using lawfare against these folks, that we would actually use the law against these folks. You and I have talked about this for the last year, on and off, that the Republicans need to take the high road on this thing and make everything that they do make sense to the American people. And I think they're doing that. I think they're selling that fairly well. I wonder, there's a big stink going on about the auto pen. And was Joe Biden actually there? Was Joe Biden directing this stuff? I think a whole bunch of us conservatives think no. Joe was in the basement trying to find a change of depends, and his staff was taking care of these things. Will that blow up in their face? I don't know. There's an awful lot of noise being made about it, but how much of that can you prosecute? I do not know. Pam Bondi might know. She hasn't said. The point, though, Dave, that you and I are both making about this is the Dems have nothing. They have nothing substantial. If you're going to try to win an election, you have to prove that you have a better idea than the other guy and that you're willing to implement it. They have none of that.
They've given up on it. They've given up on logic. They've given up on anything they can do positively to convince the American people other than winning a war. Now that they're going off into the distance with that. I don't know what country is going to want to help them, but they're going to need help if they're going to do that.
Hell, Dave.
And I don't see it. I don't see it. China did nothing about Iran, and neither did Russia when Trump took those bombs and destroyed their nukes. So there's no evidence that we can find now that who's going to back them, and they can't do this by themselves.
Well, when you talk about civil war, Dave, let's take a look at conservative versus liberal. The liberal are willing to riot, of course, in cities that the police won't come after them. You don't see the conservatives doing that. We're sitting at home cleaning our AR-15s and waiting for them to start something that they cannot finish.
Or maybe even working on jobs. Okay.
Yeah. Some of us actually work for a living. Isn't that an amazement?
Yeah.
So these guys, Dave, have proved to be on the wrong side of every argument.
Right.
And okay, I get that. I've been on the wrong side of arguments too, but you don't stick with that sinking ship. You do a little bit of thought and maybe some reflection and come up with answers that are better than your opponent. And these guys can't do that. We are literally stuck with orange man bad from these folks. That's their backup position. That's not going to fly, Dave. There's a whole lot of people in this country that appreciate what.
There's a lot of people, millions and millions of people, and they're saying 77 million. I think Trump's take was more like 85, 90 million.
I would guess 90.
And they just there's no way of beating that. I mean, you're not going to get Americans to follow you into a civil war unless they're just totally nuts or just delusional.
Well, and we've cleaned up the elections and have enough election scrutiny now that they're going to have a hell of a time stealing it this next time. Of course, all of us are going to be watching the midterms pretty carefully. But I think what they did in the previous election, when the slimy Joe managed to win, they can't get away with that anymore. There's too many eyes looking at these things.
Yes.
And good. It's as it should be. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene has just come up with some legislation that says only citizens can vote and only citizens can be counted in the census. Whether that actually flies or not, couldn't tell you, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
We never, I go back a long ways in this country. We never intended to count visitors in our census. And that includes illegal visitors who don't intend to leave.
Can you name the countries that do honor the votes of people that came into their country unwanted or illegally? Who does that?
No country does that. And in our country, we don't even keep track of who's here for real and who's not.
Yeah.
You can thank the Democrats for that. The liberals who would like to flood our elections with illegals who ostensibly will vote Democrat. That's just wrong on so many levels, Dave. And I think the citizens of this country have finally seen Donald Trump's doing something about it. They're backing him. Well, good. That's as it should be.
Well, not only this country is backing this, but some of the immigrants in the United States from Mexico, from El Salvador, they are volunteering themselves to go back to their home countries because they're afraid of being picked up off the street somewhere. And so what they're planning on doing is going back and staying or going back and then starting the routine legally to come back to the United States. That doesn't cause much action at the border these days.
Isn't that refreshing, Dave?
Absolutely.
We were talking about the Democrats' lack of putting anybody out front that makes any sense. Let's talk for a moment about Gavin Newsom. There's been talk in the DNC among the Democrat power players that Gavin Newsom, the man from California that has the nice hair and has no agenda that makes any sense,
about nice hair,
up as a potential Democrat candidate for president. You got a whole bunch of people in Washington, D.C. that are looking in Gavin Newsom's underwear, looking for stuff to nuke him. Well, I got a piece of that for you.
Shouldn't be hard.
California's high-speed rail debacle. They were funded 16 years ago.
Yep.
To put high-speed rail, was like the bullet train in Tokyo, between California cities. And you know something? 16 years, Dave, they've not laid a single mile of track.
Now we're talking about $3 billion.
It's actually closer to $4 billion.
$4 billion.
Trump took that.
Where did the money go?
Well, here it is. The California folks are saying it is rather difficult in our state to use eminent domain to take property that is privately owned. So I looked into that. And California eminent domain laws are pretty stiff. They are stiff in the siding on the side of the individual landowner. But wait a minute, 16 years? You guys can't come up with eminent domain and purchase land in 16 years? Oh no, we got a lot of permitting problems. We got a lot of buying the land. How about you guys just walk away from this and say this was a very bad idea, and let's just give the money back and widen our freeways by 2
million. They don't have the money anymore. They spent it.
Of course they don't. That all went to silly socialist garbage.
You got it.
It was a giveaway from the very beginning. And Gavin Newsom, for years, has defended that high-speed rail. This is something that he politicked on. He said this is going to be the best thing from California. Now he's turning around and saying, well, look, the federal government took $4 billion of that was unspent. Now we can't do it. We don't have any money. Gavin, right. I'm so sorry, man, but that does not fly. Us rednecks in Rolla aren't going to buy that, not a chance in the world. And let's face it, your constituents are not going to buy that either. They recognize it for the political garbage socialist junk.
And isn't it something that the only reason people like him is because he's got a good head of hair?
Yeah, he's got nice hair.
I realize Trump's got a good head of hair too, but give me a break. A head of hair doesn't mean you got anything under it or between the ears.
Yeah, we're talking an empty head inside of this thing. And Gavin Newsom on the wrong side of every single argument.
And then there's the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. Oh my God.
That woman needs to go to Gitmo. She is way out there.
Absolutely.
I got a closing one for you, Dave.
All right, go ahead.
Rescissions. You and I have talked about rescissions in the past, and that's when the government claws back money that they had otherwise committed to questionable causes and try to get some of their cash back. J.D. Vance broke the tie in the Senate to take back $8.3 billion of USAID money, $1.1 billion for PBS. All of this stuff was uncovered by the Doge team.
And NPR too, and NPR as well.
Oh yes, NPR, PBS, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is the umbrella that those operate under.
A wing of the DNC.
Yes, no question about it. Well, let's talk about the Republicans that didn't support this. And you're going to recognize both of these names because they come up on your show all the time. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. Susan Collins from Maine.
No shock.
Are both rhinos, have been rhinos, vote with Democrats more often than Republicans. How is it possible that they continue to run on a Republican ticket and get elected?
Well, I don't know about the one in, is it Maine? Is that where she's from?
That's Susan Collins of Maine.
Yeah, Maine. And the other one's in Alaska, but they have a screwy election in Alaska. You can actually finish third in the first part of it and still win. How does that work?
That is ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
And ranked choice voting is a terrible, terrible thing.
Well, you're not really getting what the people want.
Yeah, you really don't get what you want. Your vote doesn't count past the first time that you vote. And these are successive votings.
While we're on, I want to read some of these things because some of them I think belong to you.
Well, sure. Let's hear it.
Okay. Well, John Jeffrey Bradshaw, ready.
Oh, of course you're ready.
Patricia Odin Maxwell looking good, sounding good. Go team.
Hi, Pat.
Roy Maddox. Good morning. You done now?
I pushed the wrong button. It went the wrong way.
Thank you.
Good morning, Shannon.
Shannon Reed. Good morning. TGI. Thank God it's Friday, I think. Yeah. Dave.
Yeah. Friday.
All right, I get it now. Friday.
It's Friday.
That's another person on here, and I'm losing it right now. She'll probably come in and say something. Oh, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. She corrected herself.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I guessed it though. Don't I get some applause for that?
Well, I think you ought to.
Fine.
If you can't get applause,
that's enough.
At least get some crickets.
Well, we got to check the crowd out there and see if they actually came to work today.
Well, I think a lot of the people from Newburgh are on strike. I'm not sure.
Are they really?
I don't know that for sure. Dave, it has been my pleasure. I will talk with you again next week.
Well, you have a great weekend. Hi to your lovely bride, and let's hear it for John Jeffrey Bradshaw.
Thank you.
Good day, and always a star. And we're right there to hit the commercials. His timing was perfect. All right, let's go to commercial, and we'll be back.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best. Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and will take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Loves Wyoming and his fight to make it great. Why am I seeing you?
The camera tried to switch on me. I'm going to switch it back.
Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm now going to have to introduce, and I'm going to have to.
We've got a new host.
Sir, I don't know what the hell happened here. What did you guys do?
Hey, I like this. JP's taking over the show. This is great.
Yeah. Not what I had
Right.
planned.
I got no picture. My wife got no picture. What the hell's going on here?
Now all you need to do is mute Dave, and you and I can talk for the rest of the show.
He went for the button. I think he knows better. Anyhow, this man loves Wyoming, and he has a fight to make it. He's a pizza aficionado, and sometimes eats pasta when it suits him. Obviously, he's an Italian American. What's the difference? What's this about you missing Wyoming? Has the FBI tracked you to Missouri? I mean, will you miss Wyoming?
Okay, so all of my Wyoming friends there on Facebook this time of year, they start putting up the pictures. They start traveling around the state, and if you haven't been there, Wyoming this time of year is stunning. It is just absolutely beautiful. The high country is just unmatched anywhere in the world. And
why did you picture a big snowstorm?
Yeah, that's what I said when I said I get so homesick, and what I have to do when I see those pictures and I remember those summer places that were just out of this world, is I have to remember there's 9 other months of the year that you have to consider, and that's why I put the picture of the blizzard, because I've had my share of times driving through blizzards like that. So that's what that was all about.
So is it true that there are no FBI people there that have sent criminals from the mob to places like Wyoming?
That I don't know, but if you want to talk about criminals, we did have Liz Cheney for a while there. So
yeah.
She did the next best thing for a criminal to being in jail is being in public office, unfortunately, and she did so pretending to be a Republican. So don't get me started.
Well, that's going to be the purview of Mark and Patricia McCloskey coming up in about 2 hours. Yeah, a little less than 2 hours. So Hunter Biden blames the Dems for abandoning Joe. I feel bad for him, don't you?
You know, this is when leftists lose, it's never in their world, it's never because they had a bad ideology that people rejected. There's always going to be an excuse. If you remember, the initial excuses we heard was people wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris because she was black and she's a woman. Okay, and so
we still hear that.
Yeah, it's you make excuses. What you don't admit is that your ideology, your Marxist ideology, stinks, and that people, once they realize that's what you're about, they want nothing to do with it. Okay, because if you do that, you're not going to be able to schmooze your way into maybe the next election. And believe me, they're working hard towards the midterms and towards 2028. And sadly, so much of the time, so much along the way, the rhinos are aiding and abetting. And I can go into that one. What's her name? Salazar out of Florida, the Republican that's pushing for amnesty of everything we've fought for to try and get Trump into office so we can make America again. And we have a Republican pushing for amnesty.
Amnesty for who?
For the illegal aliens. And guess what happens when you have amnesty for illegal aliens? First of all, there's a big fight going on about whether or not they should be included in the census. And the answer, America, Absolutely not. The census is
No.
about counting American citizens for one person, for one purpose, which is to define congressional districts per the
Well,
Constitution.
they're also trying to stop child mutilation operations in the transgender thing, and also trying to stop all the fentanyl that's killing kids and trafficking of children. They got
You're talking about
35,000 of
securing the border. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I was dealing specifically with this amnesty and counting illegal aliens in the census. If we're going to count illegal aliens in the census, we might as well count Iranians in the census too, because they don't live here. They're not from here. So what? Let's count them and let's make congressional districts all about them getting representation.
Everybody in the world that's going to vote Democrat needs to be in this country. That is their motto, it seems to me, because they ain't running on anything. Can you think of one thing that they're really running on that makes any sense at all?
They're still trying the mean tweets. They're still trying that. Yeah. They're still pushing that nonsense.
So they did that, and what happened? They lost big time.
Yeah,
and they lost. I bet
they only lost because
bigger than what we've seen.
They only lost because you're disloyal and you're anti-woman and anti-black. That's the only reason they lost. Okay, forget the fact that their policy stinks.
How can we be anti-women if we don't want men playing in their sports?
Okay, I'll admit it. Go up to the book here, chapter 2 and 3. It's all about leftist hypocrisy. Yeah, they'll change their tune on a dime.
Yeah, show the book too.
Yeah,
I know it's on, but because he's going to cry like a baby if you don't do this.
Oh boy, you're really picking on me today. Hey,
I pick on you every week.
I know. I got a good one for you.
Because you know what?
I got several good ones
worse
for you.
to me than I do to you.
No wonder the reason Dave Weinbaum, everybody, is so uninformed this week is because PBS and NPR are being shut down, so he doesn't have his source of news anymore. The U.S. Ministry of Propaganda.
And I'm still talking. How's that? You're wrong.
You know what? Your microphone's not working.
Yet.
Your microphone actually isn't working. You're being echoed. I'm serious.
Are you serious?
Definitely, yeah.
What do we got? I'll check it out. So can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're talking from across the room.
Okay, maybe turn my mic up a little bit.
I think it needs to be turned on. But that's okay. If you're across,
I get the feeling they're trying to take over here. And
they might be.
Yeah,
no, seriously, let's talk about this NPR PBS thing because this is great, and the left is melting down over this. Yes. People are going to lose everything that they need because they won't be informed anymore. No, what we had was a leftist ministry of propaganda. It was either the NPR or PBS president actually came out and said something a few months back, and I believe you had quoted it, where she's talking about, well, people need disinformation because they can't handle real information, so we've got to repackage it for them so they think correctly. Okay, and this was at your taxpayer expense and mine, and it's being shut down. This is huge. The other thing that's huge this week or the last week is when Trump came out and said the IRS will not be interfering with pastors speaking political truth from the pulpit, because pastors are supposed to be speaking truth from the pulpit.
Really?
And if some of that crosses into the political boundaries, the government has no right to interfere on that.
So they stopped that, right?
And so the IRS will not be censoring churches anymore. And again, the left is having a meltdown, and that's good. The free speech, getting the truth out there, that's what America needs.
Yeah, you love free speech until I say something. I know.
Oh, you could say anything you want. It's when you start telling those really bad jokes.
Better now because he was jiggling.
No, it's you're still coming in from across the room. I think I'm hearing you through JP's microphone. Seriously.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think we're having that same issue we did before.
Uh-oh. Here we go again. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you just the same, but you might want to.
He's got the pink one on.
I've got the prime microphone here, so I might as well take advantage of this and
putting the pink one on for him. No, hold on. This is getting to be fun.
Maybe swap headphones with somebody.
Okay, what about now?
Same.
Okay. Well, as long as you can hear me somehow, some way.
Yeah.
So how did banning plastic straws help clean up California because
Oh, you saw that post, didn't you?
Wow, how remarkable was that? Oh.
That again, we go back to the selective moralizing of the left because they do stuff like this.
Boy, did we need that?
They'll tell you that was so good for the environment. That saved Mother Earth. It stopped global warming. It saved the seals. It did all this stuff.
And you can walk down the streets of L.A. and never find a homeless person or any dirt or
and you look at the.
You can't do that now.
That's
because
the sewer.
The straws have been taken care of.
That's the sewer that they make into every situation where they take hold. But understand this: they always get that control in those situations by doing something like grandstanding off of the straws. We're gonna stop this evil. They stopped the evil in the classroom because back in the 1960s, the classrooms in America where they would open up and a lot of them would say the Lord's Prayer in the morning. And by golly, those leftists were going to stop that because that was unconstitutional. Now, what are they doing? Drag queens in the classroom, Islam in the classroom, every kind of perverse leftist ideology, religious dogma is in the classroom, but you can't say the Lord's Prayer or you can't say Merry Christmas because that's trampling somebody's constitutional rights.
Right. So, and to follow up on that, there's a quote from the NEA Teachers Union head about diversity. And I'm quoting her. "We ain't got no time for reading and writing. We've got to fight Trump."
Yeah. That's what the NEA.
That's the head of the education.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I can tell you, I've actually, you'll love this part. I've actually been fighting with some Wyoming lefties about this because they're saying, well, that's not happening in Wyoming. Wyoming is a conservative state, totally Republican, and yet the schools in Wyoming are just like the schools in Chicago. They're leftist cesspools. Okay, the Wyoming Education Association is just their platform looks just as radical lunatic left as the things you're describing there.
All right. So Newsom is disturbed about who's going to harvest the weed.
Yeah.
Maybe ICE should cool him off. What do you think?
Okay, that was a good Dave Weinbaum joke. You did see my comment to Newsom, didn't you? You saw what I told Newsom. I said. Besides, they said these kids are only doing the jobs that American kids won't do.
Yeah.
Right. These children that they have, the slave labor out in the field.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it's evil. It's all about corrupting.
Who gets arrested here? Who gets arrested? Is it the people in who are running the farm? Are they getting arrested? Are they illegal aliens?
The people running the farm,
Americans getting trafficking these kids.
If you see people running out of a bank with a bag full of money, and you give them a ride and you take them to safety where they can't get caught, what are you? You're aiding and abetting. Okay, if you're the farmer now, the way, and again, the way the left portrays us, these farmers that are feeding America, these noble farmers, but they can't do it without illegal aliens. Okay, if you're a farmer hiring foreigners, you're breaking the law too. You're facilitating the lawlessness. Can't hear nothing. I can't hear nothing.
Can't hear anything.
Now I can hear you a little tiny bit, but you're still across the room.
Okay, but even Trump fell for this. Can you turn up my volume? No? Okay.
No.
Can you use a different headphone?
No. No, it won't help anything.
It won't help anything?
Same issue we had before.
Are you hearing me or what?
Well, I'm sitting right next to you, so yeah.
Here, hold on. Let me try this.
Okay.
And what's this there?
It's the ones we're going to try to have other issues now.
Well,
you don't have a microphone now.
Wow, hey.
Here.
Yes, I do, right here.
That's the same. The microphone is what's not working.
No.
The mic is not working.
No.
Here, try that.
No. Same issue we had before.
Okay.
The cord is not going.
Hear me now?
Same as before. I'm hearing you from across the room.
Yep.
I think I'm hearing you through JP's microphone.
All right.
The back of the mixer went bad again.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what?
So we're going off the laptop.
All right. How about I do sign language?
Well, you keep talking, but you I can hear you. It's just it's definitely not coming through the mic.
So, all right. Well, we'll keep going.
But whatever we have to do to hear those wonderful flowing tones of Dave's voice, even if it's across the room, it's still worth it because you've still got good things to share in between the bad jokes.
I heard that.
You did hear that.
I heard that, and I'm very sad for you. See, you can hear that. You can hear that, can't you?
Oh, yeah, I can. So a couple other things to talk about now.
Go ahead.
What we have in D.C., we have this whole cadre of people who do not want to deal with the real issues. Okay. And one of them I'm going to tell you is Rand Paul, and I'll make a lot of people mad with that. But he made an insane comment this week that just proves, in my mind, beyond any doubt, that he's just not actually going to deal with the issues. He said that what happened in Butler a year ago, July 13th, when President Trump got shot, nearly assassinated, he said it was a, quote, cascade of failures. Now, that's like the understatement of the century. It was not a cascade of failures. It was obviously a setup. When you have a guy on a roof with a gun within shooting range of the president of the United States, and people are shouting to the so-called Secret Service, there's a guy up there with a gun, and nothing is happening. That's not a cascade of failures. That's some sort of really sinister collusion going on. And we better approach it from that as being the problem we have to deal with, because the cascade of failures is a way of saying, well, we'll just fire certain people because they failed and everything will be okay.
Well, no, we have something. The cover-up implies that this was a planned attack on the president of the United States, and the fact that this guy was up there with a phone talking to somebody.
Yep.
And they don't have the content of that phone, they're saying?
Yeah, this was a deep state
outrageous.
effort.
Outrageous. And yet he picks the guy that was one of the guys on the stage to be the head of the Secret Service.
I know. And like I said, here's Rand Paul saying a cascade of failures. Mistakes were made. Don't you love that? Whenever they catch
when did he say that?
He said, but Rand Paul says sometime this week. I just saw it in the news just this morning.
Yeah, well, I don't. How does he say that then? Now, if he said it the day it happened, even then it was suspicious, but still.
Right, but very quickly it became obvious. It's something very, very sinister and much bigger than inept Secret Service and some wacky kid. It's much bigger than that going on. There's all kinds of. What do they call those sound profiling of the gunshots and everything, that there were different guns being fired. There was all kinds of things happening that they're not talking about. Does this sound familiar? There's all kinds of things happening with Epstein that they're not talking about. There's all kinds of things happening everywhere that they're not talking about. We've got a much bigger problem here than people have recognized. And,
Epstein is a bigger difference. It's an issue. But then again, what are they doing, really? I mean, what's Trump doing here?
I'm convinced
the Democrats got a hold of this. They didn't want to talk about it for 4 years or 3 years, however long it was. 2019, I believe it was, when he allegedly got killed.
When he supposedly committed suicide out of camera. Yeah. During the time when the camera glitched and it happened to be off.
His then
hey, that ought to have
Attorney General Bill Barr said this was a suicide.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now they're back to that again after saying that there were people that got in there that probably killed him, and that he didn't really have the apparatus to kill himself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Why is that happening right now?
It's
there must
pretty
be another reason.
The thing that the deep state at this point has got to maintain the facade at all cost. Now, I'm convinced, I will tell you this, I am convinced that there's no way that Donald Trump is actually working with these people, even though sometimes it seems like he's not doing the right thing in the timetable that we think he should. But he would have to be colluding with the people who tried to kill him a year ago.
I don't. Here, do you know John Solomon? Do you know him?
Yeah.
Journalist. Have you read the piece that he wrote about this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, what he's saying is that this is a way of them retreating and having people focus on the Epstein papers while they're getting all these indictments ready, and they're
that could be.
They're going to release that in days from now.
And he could be absolutely right. I do
Yeah.
believe there's a lot of they talk about Trump playing 4D chess with them, and he
Yes.
does a lot of that. And I agree. I think we look at how he took out the Iranian nuclear sites, and he did
Absolutely.
exactly that. Bait and switch. You remember the analogy I gave you a few weeks ago when we talked about it. I described how in the Second World War they'd send this huge flight of bombers off towards one city, and they'd send a little group of bombers off to actually do what they wanted to get accomplished, because they wanted to divert the whole German counterattack against the wrong people.
Yeah.
And that way they could get through. And there's things like that Trump does, and he's good at it, and he's been getting a lot accomplished, which is why we need to be patient and why we need to not immediately just assume that he's gone over to the dark side. Having said that, the elephant in the room that we can't ignore is this, that if you have a person who's got stage 4 cancer and you get most of the tumors out, but you leave a few of them behind, that person is going to die from cancer. Okay, so you've got to root out the entire cancer. We've got to get the whole tumor out of this government. And I do believe that these things that you see Trump doing, where he's kind of bobbing and weaving, and it's like, wait a minute, he should have done this and he's doing that.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that he is absolutely putting the pieces in place. And then at one opportune moment, when the right time comes, he's going to say checkmate.
That's what John Solomon is saying, and he says he has inside information about it. And this guy's a pretty good journalist,
and
that's hard to say these days. That's real hard to say. Okay,
yeah,
but he's pretty good at it. So, all right. Other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you and buy your book?
I'm still available at Amazon. You go to Amazon, do a search on my name or on Rules for Defeating Radicals, and I will tell you that from the grassroots up to the bigger offices, that this book is still needed, so our side can understand the shifty little dirty tricks the left plays.
All right,
and how to beat them.
When are you going to write another book? I think you need to write another book.
Well,
you need to update this on new stuff based on this book, and show them that what the difference is.
You know,
you get a real president in, and contrast it to what they did, which is based on your book.
I get what you're saying, and I've considered that, but the other side of that is that the principles of this book have a timeless quality to them. If you can understand the dirty tricks they did back then, you look at what they're doing now, it's the same thing. But
you have more examples of it.
Oh yeah, you got more examples every day. Yeah,
that are based on the last 10 years, let's say, versus the whole history thing, and it's more relative to people who are alive now than it would have been in the 18.
I might at some point do an updated version with that in mind. I mean, I get your point. But the principles still apply 100%.
I know you need this. You have AI. You can use AI to make suggestions to you. I'm serious. I'm looking at it too. I'm looking at it all day long. Not all day long, but I fight with AI. Okay. And it's kind of interesting because I've approached them about a book. And,
if you need help writing a book, let me know.
I'm trying to figure out if I have enough time in my life to do this. Okay, but I might be doing it. I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those might be kind of things. Like I might have been a great golfer, but I'm not. So. All right. Now, also, last and finally.
Here it comes. Is Lisa's microphone working?
No. Lisa's just walking back in.
Lisa's not covering for me today?
No, I'm sorry. You need to hide behind my wife.
Yeah, she's pretty sharp. I'll bet she tells better jokes than you two.
Yeah, she can tell you the one she told me this morning.
No.
No, she's not going to do it.
No. You didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
He won't either.
Yeah, and he won't either. How about that? She just said we're both dummies. All right,
No.
that's good. All right, so let me do it, and then try not to be an ass, okay? You hear about the criminal shoe?
We're getting off on the wrong foot, Dave.
Did you hear about the criminal shoe? He was a real sneaker.
Okay.
I hear the crickets from across the room.
There were no crickets. Only applause and laughter. All right, my friend. How's your wife doing? She doing okay?
She's doing better. She's getting healthier. We're going to be out fighting the good fight here real soon.
All right. Tell her we say hi and we're praying.
I will
for
do
her.
that.
Okay. You are beyond prayer. No, you're not. All right. Get off my phone. Thank you so much for being on the show and taking what little abuse I give you and whining about it.
You guys keep doing the great work. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right. God bless. Thank you. Okay. Well, Bill's, who we got now? We got nobody.
Not until 9:30.
That's right. Oh, that's great. We can get all the commercials out of the way.
Well,
why am I in such a hurry?
I can't do commercials.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I cannot use the mixer again.
Would a phone be better for interviews, or would that be the same issue? Because it is pretty poor.
It's still.
We can't do any more commercials?
We had the same problem we did before. Somehow the back of the mixer's gone bad, so I can't use the clips in the commercials because
You can't use clips?
Nope.
No clips?
Nope. No clips.
No clips?
We can try it, but I doubt it's going to work.
All right, try one. Let's see what's going on. Okay.
Or should we run down and try to buy one? Or?
Well, no. Well, there's a phone.
It's
All right.
Adolf.
Oh, do we want to answer Adolf?
Now, yeah. Let's find out the one.
Yeah. Well, hello, can you hear me? You can hear me.
Yeah, because we're going through
Yeah. So it might be.
Okay, so why is that happening? We're having trouble with the sound here. So thank you for calling and thank you for being a guest on the Dave Weinbaum Show. No, how are you? Good, great. Yeah, got a lot of things going for you. How's Joanne? Do I sound like my voice is like in a closet somewhere? Good. See, I've come out of the closet.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
what happens now is we can hear Adolf because it's going directly, but then to the laptop, the audience can't hear Adolf because I need this cord to be.
They can't hear you?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I can't do commercials.
Nope.
Well, what about when we get Bill in?
Bill can still be heard because he's going to go through the microphone on the laptop like we're doing now. And
okay,
but
can you still hear me, Adolf? All right. Well, anyways, I got to get off the phone because you can't be heard by anybody else. We enjoyed the dinner. Call me back next week. All right. Thanks. Bye. Okay. Okay. So here we are. Stuck in a studio, wanting to do the show, and we'll do it the best we can. They can hear me, right?
They can hear you because so all of us in the room and like Chris when he comes on the screen or like Mark later, the microphone on the camera or the laptop is still picking them up.
Did you try one of the clips?
I was before Adolf. I can try again.
Well, try again and just see what happens. How are we going to know?
I will listen over here through the laptop, and that'll tell me if it's working.
All right, go. Can't hear it at all?
Nope.
Okay, well, all right. We're just going to have to hoof it here. Now, Elon Musk, he invents a new party called the American Party. And, I don't know if that's part, I think that's part of the deception here. I think they have decided to use Elon Musk as some kind of not a puppet, but some kind of a visual that will draw people's heads away from what he's doing. And I think him and Trump might be involved in this. I don't see why they wouldn't make up. I don't see definitely what Elon's going to get out of this. And with Trump, I think he's getting a little bit of a stall here until they actually do something. So I don't know if they call on the phone, we can hear them. They can't hear us. Send us a comment. All right, we'll read it.
Yep.
Okay. Send us comments. We can still do that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Did you see Shannon's second comment?
No. What'd she say?
Where was that at?
Let's see.
TGIF.
Yeah.
She's got a new coin phrase.
TGIF. But also, thank God it's Dave.
TGID now, so he's
TIGD. Oh, that's very nice. And I heard it. Well, I didn't hear it. I said it. Rico Camino. Good morning. That's the Godfather. Anyone else? All right. Just send us stuff if you can. Just bear with us. You know, these things happen. Andrea Shrum, good morning. Good morning, Andrea. All right. That's great. Hey, everybody. Pick it up so I can get through this and get as many people on here as possible. Let's kick this problem's butt here and now. Let's solve the problem by working around it until we can fix it. Millions of flyers dropping to fight. Flesh-eating maggots. Millions of flyers dropping to fight flesh-eating maggots?
What?
I don't know what they're doing that for.
What are you talking about?
What's the matter with these guys? Oh, flies. Something. I don't know. Anyways, measles at 33-year-old high. Gee, I wonder how did a 33-year high school get measles? You know, and that part of that I think is because of the bad economy from the Biden administration. Trump's settlement with 60 Minutes includes $16 million in ads. So Trump is making a lot of money. He's making a fortune by suing these networks. Somebody just lost his TV show. He was a comedian. Stephen Colbert.
Nasty.
More proof that people are not
moron. And I think PBS and NPR had something to do with that. I think he backs them, and I think they back the NBC. Is that NBC or CBS?
CBS, I think.
CBS? Yeah. Yeah, you know what the BS stands for there, too, don't you?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right. So Reboot films appear to be Hollywood's fear. They are having a fest of going back to different ideas, like the John Wick situation, where now they got a John Wick, it's 4 or something like that. And they have a woman now acting as a John Wick kind of person. And it was a good movie. We saw that.
It's called Ballerina.
Ballerina, yes.
They're trying to transition him over to her, assuming his role.
I thought it was a
good
success.
action picture, but
and then we went and saw F1.
Yep.
And we were sitting there in the movie theater that was in the hotel, which is really cool.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. What happened was the previous time on actually July 4th. I was not here to do the show. I I had the next guest coming on it to do it, and that's Bill Hardwick and Don Mayhew, both of whom are representatives. And I wasn't doing anything that morning, except I was going to go out later and try to play golf, because she wanted to shop, and she'd drop me off, and she went shopping. But I listened to the show, and JP was here, and they did a good show. Mm-hmm. Of course, they also found out how hard it is to prep for a show. And so Bill's going to talk about that when he comes in. Hopefully they can hear him. Are they going to be able to hear him?
They'll be able to hear him because there'll be the microphone on the laptop. It's picking up everything in the room.
Okay.
But it's very hard to hear him.
Yes.
Is this the problem right here?
Yes.
The cord. So this little, where the cord goes in right here, the back of the mixer, I think it went bad again. So I'm not getting input into the cord.
I thought we got it fixed.
We did, and apparently it's gone bad again. We just may have to replace the mixer at this point.
All right. Okay. Well, I guess so. Anyhow, these rebooted films, that's it. I guess if you have a winner, you want to keep trying it. And I've made friends with a guy named Chris Fenton, who may be on the show next week. And he was always pushing my material on X. And he's got a great interview with Matt Gaetz. And Matt Gaetz was rumored to be a guy that was going to be, he's going to be the special counsel to try many of these people like Comey and Schiff and the spy, the head of the CIA, Brennan. So that should be interesting to see if that goes. But this guy is on the show, and he's sending me a private message to help him. So I'm doing it right now, and go see that interview. It's really good, but it's very interesting. This guy owned a movie theater. I mean, he owned a movie company where they did Iron Man 3, and a part of it was to make the Chinese happy with America, and he was trying to get closer to China, is what he was doing. So that should be an interesting interview. I'm going to get him next week, and this guy should be top notch. Andrea Shrum. Hope everyone is praying for those in danger in the fires in Utah and Colorado. I haven't heard about those. That's pretty interesting. Thanks for the news. I've been watching the news most of the morning, and somehow I missed that. Thank you, Andrea. Do we have any more?
Nope.
Okay. Well, keep on sending them, and we'll go down till the end, fighting like crazy. But there's these films are coming out, and it's from Marvel Company, and Marvel Company seems to be really it's possibly a good investment right now, because all these characters are in this other film, the film with what's the guy's name who played the Iron Man?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert what?
Downey Jr.
Okay, Downey Jr. Yes.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And so everybody who is pissed off or otherwise put back by no Epstein clientele, it's a BS alert, in my opinion. I mean, after laying that out for us, normally the AG, Pam Biondi, would be fired, and the FBI would be up for grabs, and like they are already, anyways. But you had both Kash Patel and Don Bongino was ready to quit. It was said, and I think I think that stuff was made up. I think they're all agreeing with Trump, and I think it's a ruse for Trump to take action some way. So, and now they're saying he wasn't murdered in his cell. It was a suicide.
Here's a shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would?
And they're all claiming this.
Who would ever figure that?
And they're all claiming this. But they said they had the list.
I saw them make that statement.
Yes.
It seemed like somebody was pressuring them.
Exactly.
So
exactly. So
you
who
have
do you
to
think
doubt
it
the
was?
validity.
Who do you think it was? Can they hear you?
I'm not sure because I'm further from the laptop.
Okay.
So we're all using.
Well, why don't you go sit over there and get closer to the laptop so people can hear you?
Okay.
Okay.
I can do that.
We watched the new Superman movie last weekend. It was good despite all the criticism of it. That's what I've heard. Yes, thank you, Andrea. Appreciate that. Now I'm having to squint to see because JP's running around trying to fix this computer thing. So Dems are now encouraging illegals to shoot ICE agents. This is their idea of a way to conduct themselves after calling Trump a crook for the last 10 years. And Trump was a liberal, for goodness sakes. He was a liberal. He'd go on the Oprah show. He'd go on on all the MSNBC shows, and favorite of Whoopi Goldberg and all those other gals there. And suddenly he runs for president, and Clinton and the Clintons. He used to give them money. Chuck Schumer. He used to give these guys money for their politics before he became what he is now, and that is an America First kind of guy. I don't know if you can call him wholly a conservative, but I think he is for the most part. But he's a guy who thinks, and he's a guy that's not stuck on one idea. If an idea is not working, he's going to change it, and he's going to make something. He's a conservative who makes things work, and he's a conservative with his eyes open. In other words, he's watching how things are developing, and when he's seeing a few things he can mix up, let's say, and put it in as something that would help the situation versus hurt it. So, any news?
Yeah, Mets Music has some, but Mets Music has some mixers and all that. A little bit larger one in stock.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can buy some online. So.
All right. So food dyes are foiled by M&Ms. Although I did hear some others that were going to be getting rid of their food dyes. I guess these little M&Ms, that's they're people. One podcast said Epstein was secretly taken out of the back door and flown to Israel because he is Mossad. Yeah, really? I wonder who that was. At this point, who are you going to believe? But he still had a file, and he still had people flying off to him. So, and you're going to hear that out of Mark McCloskey too. So, yeah, the Dems are out there encouraging riots and encouraging illegal aliens to shoot ICE. Now, I might not be a lawyer, but when you're encouraging illegals to shoot members of the United States police orientation, I would think that might be a criminal charge waiting for you in a jail cell as well. And these are Congress people that are saying it. So this is going to put them in a very precarious decision here on how far they want to go with this. Okay, so food dyes are now being fought against by some and others. I think PepsiCo has fixed its way, and so has Hershey's, and their stocks were all up yesterday, I think, because of it.
Yeah, there was a big announcement of quite a few companies that are going to cancel the food dyes or other things that aren't aren't even used in other countries. They use on us here in the U.S.
Okay.
So
great.
I can't remember the other one though.
All right. So
but that's good news for all of us.
If no evidence of Epstein's list, then I realized Ghislaine Maxwell, probably one of your relatives, right?
No relation. Thank
no
God.
Relation?
No
Okay.
relation.
She was like 10 years ago, but now you've said
I've
more.
disowned her.
Yeah, you disowned her. All right.
Yep.
I wonder what she thinks of you. But she's still in jail. What have you done to get her out of jail? Your long lost sister.
Absolutely nothing.
There you go. And so
she's lucky she's still in jail. She's lucky she didn't commit suicide already.
Yeah. Well, that could be next. She's in jail. And she's saying, well, people around her are saying, well, if Epstein is out, shouldn't she be out too? And she's been convicted. I don't know if Epstein, was he ever convicted of anything? I don't think he was.
Well, he was in jail for something. I just don't remember what the exact charge was.
Well, yeah, he had charges against him. I don't know if he was hey, answer this. Was Epstein ever charged with anything? I think he went to trial once and he was exonerated. And I think he was using Alan Dershowitz as his lawyer. And so, you got Alan Dershowitz going on the planes. You wonder if he was fooling around. Rumors are you had John Roberts, the head of our Supreme Court, on this plane. So, that's kind of interesting. That's pretty good to own the loyalties of the Supreme Court justice that could be putting you away. And this guy, Boasberg, who pops up everywhere, he is out there trying to get John Roberts to say things that are going to nail him as to what federal judges who are not legally allowed to be presidents unless they won the election to take over the president's job. And he's trying to get John Roberts stuck in some kind of a quote that's going to ruin that vote. Charles Peterson, let's see what he says. In 2011, somebody's listening? Good. In 2008, Epstein was convicted of soliciting an underage girl for prostitution, for which he served 13 months in prison and was designated a sex offender. Thank you, Charles.
And it'd been a life sentence because then shortly after that is when Hillary Clinton made sure he didn't come back out. Or he committed suicide. Sorry, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are big Trump supporters, too. Her and her husband.
Yeah.
Bill and Hillary. What's up with that?
Mm-hmm.
So the Dems are calling for violence and blood. They're taking the dark path. Do I have any people out there that think they want to give them some advice? What advice would you give these Democrats? Because I would, if it was me, I'd say get the hell out of the country, because a lot of you are going up for charges, and I don't know that you're going to get any help. And we're talking about a lot of these judges. I think Boasberg has a problem, even because he did some things that he shouldn't have done, and they can prove it. And all these other judges that made people confess to stuff they didn't do, just to get back at Trump, and then give them big sentences and stuff. This is an outrageous thing. This is not America. We don't do this in America. We do this in Russia. And don't blame the Trump administration for that. This is what I beat Grok on. I challenged Grok based on 1.6, and they kept quoting me. Give me quotes that they have no evidence of this. But they do have evidence of what the Biden administration did and said, which were a bunch of lies. And so it got to the point to where I said, these are ridiculous statements you're making to me. This is Grok 3, okay? And I says, you're coming out of the last administration's policies and their excuses for doing what they did on 1/6/21. And so what would happen would be, well, they'd said, well, we're just using the information that's given to us. I says, well, why don't you get the information from people like Mark McCloskey? And they lied about him too. They lied about everybody. They like, whoa, what does he know? He doesn't know. Of course he knows. He's representing all these people. He knows exactly what happened to who and when it happened and what the punishment was for them. That's where I get the things that the 4-year-old girl facing up to an FBI rifle and having the lights on her chest.
Yeah.
And him suggesting this is the way you find out who's responsible, because he's going to ask that particular FBI agent, how dare you put a gun up against a 4-year-old, a 4-year-old who's who may never get over this. You've caused her a very big emotional damage, as well as her family, doing it to them. And she's got, in the middle of the night, she's got a light on her chest, which now she's going to know is that she was set up to die that day. She was set up to be killed by you. Now you tell me, who told you to do this? Oh, well, it wasn't me. It was the guy up there. It was someone else in the FBI who rides over me. I was okay. So then you go to that FBI agent, and you keep going, because all they're going to do is point to the guy who eventually runs the FBI, and or the then Attorney General, who was Merrick at the time, because he's basically in charge of the FBI, just like Biondi is. And so then it goes up to him. And what a traitor he is. What a traitor he is. And if you don't consider putting 1,300 people into cells without the proper work to be done to do that, without the crimes, doing it before they were even charged with anything, just holding them in federal primes in D.C. Some people were held locally, like in Kentucky and Texas and places like that. But this has to be fought for, and it has to be eliminated from our country, because we're just going to go back and forth with this. We're going to run our elections like this. And it's not a good thing to do. Not a good thing to do. Okay.
And I think that's where the problem with AI, my biggest concern is, where's it getting the input from for this information that it gives out? Because is it searching the web for all these different articles and stuff, or is it somebody or something giving a direct input? Because it seems like it's still left-leaning agenda that this information is always coming across with AI.
Well, for all we know, people are still getting arrested. They're still tracking down people that could have just gone in to use the toilet and come back out again.
Right.
That was criminal. This is the people's house. Trump told them, I'll give you 10,000 National Guards. They hid that tape. Nancy Pelosi hid that tape, and then claimed that it was her fault that this happened, because she should have had the 10,000. Now, she didn't mention Trump, but she should have had the National Guard out there.
Well, and I've heard rumors that there's paperwork that they're hiding that shows that Pelosi and Schumer both waived the offer from Trump to have the 10,000 plus National Guard show up.
But Trump had the film that he offered them that before the event and after the event, and they took that down. They obstructed justice when they did that. That's a crime.
We're used to them doing
so
that
many
now,
crimes. Well, okay, we need to stop getting used to it.
Yep.
And we need to investigate them. And if it warrants, we need to indict them, and we need to have them tried in a fair court. And whatever the consequences are, they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And that'll stop the lawfare. You keep doing that kind of crap. Hell, they got Fannie Willis, a long lost sister from our guest at 10 o'clock, who is, by the way, Bob Willis. So she is now under indictment as a person that schemed to help Nancy Pelosi ruin the Trump campaign via her help with 1-6. I don't know what her connection to 1-6 was, other than she was stealing votes in Georgia and had her boyfriend up there making federal money, and she got fined for that. So she's in trouble still, and she's probably going to lose her law license at the very least. So anyhow, so the Dems are calling for violence. So you watch yourselves, you know, as a Jewish person, and I'm, you know, I recognize what's going on. We have never seen anything like this in the world, and you have to wonder. And I was wondering this earlier: if Hitler had the same policy about Jews as Trump does about the illegal aliens, he could have just called them illegal aliens and sent them all back to their home country. Israel is their home country and has been way before World War II, way before World War I, way before the Civil War, way before anything. So, anyways, what was that? A dinger. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's me.
Are you dinging? Thank you. Okay, so the ICE agents now are getting targeted. They're trying to have bills that say that ICE agents now have to remove their masks, like Antifa removes their masks. Listen, these guys have children, and they have other things going on for them. And there he is, Mr. America. Hi, how are you?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. We have problems here.
You guys are having problems? Not even on. This thing on.
You don't have to worry about the microphone.
Microphones don't work.
Yeah, talking to that thing.
Can you hear me on that thing?
I think so, yeah.
It's coming through the laptop.
Don't turn off this microphone. I am paying for this microphone.
Say what?
You know that story?
Oh,
I'll lead to the intro.
Who was that?
That was Ronald Reagan in New Hampshire.
Oh,
the 1980 Republican primary.
Thank God. Yeah. All right. Well, we've had enough from you. There's the door. No, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting a little bit crazy here because I got to do a show that seemingly the only person they can hear is me.
Can you not hear me?
We can.
We can.
You can talk louder.
But you know where talk louder into that.
Can I project? Can you project? Can you hear me like that?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, this gentleman here, besides running the show with Don Mayhew last week, a fellow Missouri representative, he is a lawyer. He was a platoon leader in Iraq. He's a philosopher. And again, a state rep. He's running for state senate against the guy that he was with last week doing the show. And they did a great job. He's an amazing family man. Please welcome Bill Hardwick.
Let me see if
does anybody care?
Yeah, we have to do our own applause.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Okay. So you know what, that fundraiser? I thought it went pretty good.
I thought it was fantastic.
Wait,
you guys are amazing.
I may have fixed this problem here on the.
Well, she did the stuff.
Lisa,
the decorations and stuff.
We owe Lisa a bouquet of flowers.
Yes,
we're taking you guys out to dinner or something like that, whenever you want to. We're very serious. That was amazing.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
I can't. You helped a lot, and I have gratefulness for you in perpetuity.
Did you raise any money?
We raised a lot of money.
Good.
We raised the most out of all the candidates. Our campaign did.
Did you hear that out there?
Yeah.
This is a fundraiser.
Oh, look at that. We do have a plan.
I unplugged it from the mixer, so I can actually play it externally now. So there you
So
go.
what does that mean?
That means if I hold it like this, close by the microphone on the laptop.
What about clips and commercials?
I don't have that on here, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, you always try for a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, you always got to try to get a little bit better. And then a problem. I mean, you're a problem solver. You have to take it apart, and you sort of like to be like an engineer like Don.
Yeah.
And you have to, put things in different places and see what works, right?
That's right. Just troubleshoot it.
Troubleshoot it.
Yeah. Can you work on the sound? Is that what you're saying?
Mixer.
He says the mixer is there, but are there other ways to do this?
The back of the mixer.
Now, one time I was in a
the back's messed up.
I was in a meeting for the politicians who run the city, and a city meeting, and it was at you were there with me, right?
No.
Where we had the big crowd there.
That was before me.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes.
BU before BM.
I don't know where you're going with this, but stop.
Yeah, I do. Well, no. It has nothing to do with anything that's going to bother you.
Yes, I went to Baylor. Yes,
Billy Long nominated for the next IRS commissioner.
That must have just broke.
That's old though.
Huh?
It was like months ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is Charles Peterson, who I believe is a friend. Yeah, I still got the same thing on there. Okay, anyways, where was I now? I was at this meeting, and there were a lot of liberals on the stage, and a lot of them were at home, and they were doing it by computer.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is, Mr. Willis.
It's good to be here.
Are you okay?
I've been on a long journey.
Okay, well, he's going to be next. We have problems here.
Yeah.
You're an engineer. Tell him to fix it, for God's sakes.
What kind of problem? I knew you had problems.
Well, not those kind of problems. And we're not going to talk about my problems here.
Okay. I'm gonna give Bob my chair.
Okay,
but
God.
I still get to
You
tell
have
my
to sit
joke.
him next to me?
I still get to tell my joke before the show's over.
Okay, yeah, tell your joke now, so everyone else can give you the crickets.
I just put it away. Okay.
All right.
So
Go ahead.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with Coldplay, but they are a band that was in their prime, a decade or two ago. So anyway, Coldplay hasn't made a single in years, but last night they made two.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Your microphone's thinking work. I get that joke.
I still don't get it.
I have Facebook Reels.
Dave doesn't know what Coldplay is.
It's
Coldplay's. I like Coldplay. They've got some good songs.
Very interesting situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you won the crowd. I still don't get it, but that's fine. There's a lot of things I don't get.
Wait! I gotta do the.
All right. So,
I thought it was cute.
So now I forgot my story I was going to tell. That's not good.
Okay, so you're at the city council meeting.
Yes.
There are liberals on the stage.
Okay. And they were on a screen talking, and suddenly the sound went off.
Right.
So no one knew what to do. And there's a lot of people in there that it was like the same amount of people that were at your fundraiser.
Yeah.
And so, because I was in radio at the time, I said, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you put this microphone and tie it to whatever speaker you got and let them call my phone and you'll get the sound back. And they did, and it worked. Okay, I saved this. I saved the meeting where they're doing bad things to us, because a lot of them were, wacky. Anyways, so
is Bob your 10 o'clock guest?
I am.
Yes, yes, there he is. You sure ain't my wife. That's for sure. Thank God. All right. Okay, and he's gonna. He was. Where were you today? Now, can you hear him?
Yeah, as long as just speak up in the room. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, you got to speak up. You can't be.
I've never been accused of not speaking up.
No, speaking too often.
No.
All right, pretend like you're speaking into that, which is not happening, but it's going to look good. When the movie goes out about this, it's going to look really good.
You would project like you're talking to me because the microphone we're using is in a laptop. So,
anyways, let's interview this gentleman first. Eric Schmidt, PBS and NPR are the closest things to Pravda, and they just got bounced by that bill, the $9 million bill that Trump got through with all the Democrats walking out.
Yeah, the big beautiful bill.
Yeah. Well, then no. This is a supplement to it.
Yes, a supplement. 9.1 billion supplement.
Yeah, and all the Democrats skedaddled, and they had enough Republican votes with Vance, and they got it passed. So NPR and PBS, they're gone. They're not going to get funded with taxpayer money. And that's a good thing.
And that just passed the House yesterday.
Yeah, and it passed the Senate, I guess, last night or yesterday afternoon.
No, it passed the Senate before it went to the House.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, it's gone.
It is.
And that's a big deal because that's a lot of money
1.2
from the
billion.
Democrat Party, basically, and the taxpayers. Now, the Democratic Party, are they going to keep it alive? Is Soros going to keep it alive? They might. But right now they have trouble. They just fired a guy who works for them on TV. What was his name again? My wife told me he was a comedian, and I guess CBS is a part of him. And he's a lefty. He's a lefty guy.
Late night guy.
Yeah, late night guy.
Yeah,
he's been around for a long time too.
I want to say, man, I don't remember.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, Bill?
I think that there's a little bit of a dichotomy between conservative talk radio that's usually been able to stand on its own, Rush Limbaugh pioneering that, and liberal commentary talk, which needed always government subsidy to survive.
Yeah.
And PBS is an example of that. NPR, a little bit example of that. That's the closest thing we have to long-lasting left-wing talk radio. But it's always been subsidized by the federal government. It's relied on things like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to survive. So I've always thought it's been kind of interesting because there's not really a market that could stand on its own for either the interesting content or the substance ideology that people want to hear and kind of left-wing commentary. And a lot of people think they would say PBS or NPR is middle of the road. It's not really. It's really the liberal spin on almost everything.
Yeah.
But we've been subsidizing it or we've been funding it through the grant program. So if we're looking through, how we're trying to, we were at the White House last week. We were at the White House. They were talking a lot about cutting the deficit. There's lots of ways to do that, but one way is the things we're spending money on these little things, the nickel and dimes that adds up to dollars, right?
Yeah.
That we're spending money on stuff. It's not really furthering the national interest. We're maybe subsidizing kind of a left wing platform.
We're subsidizing a lot of remote countries on stuff.
Yeah, we spend a lot of money on all kinds.
Yeah.
We spend all kinds of money. And Elon Musk even revealed more of that, when he was in his Doge heyday. We spend money on all kinds of stuff that's not necessary or furthering. And it's a particular lobbyist who wanted that money for that particular program. And most of the members of Congress didn't know they were voting for it.
I want to ask you, what's going on with the Epstein situation where they said they had it and now they don't?
Yeah.
And now Trump and Elon are in a big fight.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's real. Do you?
Yeah, I wonder to what degree they're actually, what degree the relationship's like. The relationship might be like many relationships are, where they have good times and tense times, right? Where people who are smart and high performers and high achievers, have and that are high powered people they might have times of tension in the relationship. I think it's very plausible. The deal with Epstein is very fascinating to me because, conservatives, we had basically, we memed it. We had put it out there that there's this client list of people who've gone to Epstein Island and they're doing evil things with underage people. They're doing evil things and nefarious things. And they're powerful people that have been protected. And that's why Jeffrey Epstein was murdered while he was in custody. He didn't kill himself. Epstein didn't kill himself was the refrain, right? And so we suspected there's these powerful people in this list that's going to get released. And then to a lot of MAGA conservatives, the Justice Department and Pam Bondi saying there's nothing here. A lot of those people genuinely are disaffected.
Yeah, could I have her comment on that?
Sure.
Because I don't think people understand the legality of what's occurred in 2 cases associated with Epstein. One is a criminal case. He was brought in a criminal case by the Department of Justice for trafficking.
Right.
Okay. His case was trafficking. The other case that still exists in the courts of New York are civil cases. And those civil cases were brought by all of the women who were exploited during the process. The sex trafficking case was dropped when Epstein was killed. What the Justice Department has in terms of information is totally associated with trafficking. It has nothing to do with the solicitation. Okay.
Why were they dropped?
He died. You can't prosecute somebody that's dead.
Why can't you sue the money
you can't
that he made off of their
criminal codes don't allow it. Okay. The case was dropped after he died. Okay, so what has continued are the 31 specific civil actions brought by the women that were damaged in the process. There are minors and there are adults in that case. All of the adults' information is available to the public and the names were listed. All the minor information were redacted by the judge. When he redacted the accusers, he also had to redact the accused. The only thing that's available for the Justice Department are the trafficking information associated with it. They do not have a client's list because that's not what their case was. Okay.
Okay. So nobody since the death of Epstein, all those people were doing was just taking a ride back and forth.
Yes.
On a plane.
And for solicitation.
Yeah.
But the case that they proved against Epstein was solicitation. And
Right.
to do that, you had to go to the women that were damaged because they were the ones being solicited.
Right.
Okay. So he didn't.
Well, what about these people who the people that were child raped, basically? Why don't they?
They're the ones that sued in civil court.
Why don't they sue the people that did it?
That's what
that were
they've
on the
done.
plane?
That's what they've done.
Okay, so
That's
so
what
there-
the cases are.
There is a record
pending in
about
New York.
that.
Yeah,
with
but that's
names.
not with the Justice Department. That's a civil action. It's not a criminal action. The Justice
Okay.
Department doesn't have the information on that.
So how come somebody in the media hasn't turned that over?
This is why it's detrimental to MAGA, and they have all of a sudden they have something they can talk about that's detrimental to everything that's going on in MAGA at this point, and they're using it to the utmost.
Yeah, Trump acts like he's really pissed off about it.
Well, he is because he can't do anything about it because they don't have the information. All he can do is what he's done, and he's directed Bondi to go ahead and issue all the information she's got.
Okay. Well, they have to have a better explanation than they've had so far.
Well, Alan Dershowitz pretty well summed it up in what he said about it because he represented Epstein.
Right.
He pretty well summed it up in what he's written so far, and people just haven't reported it.
Well, what did he say?
He said there is no list, and he represented Epstein, and he knows what there are is accusations by people that were damaged.
He's a great lawyer, but when it comes to Israel, he's a little late. Okay, it's a little late to get on the boat, but definitely he was a great lawyer. So, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, I guess, she filed her Clear Skies Act to stop weather modification in GEO engineering. Is this a good idea?
There's a cloud seeding bill that passed in Tennessee a while back. There are some members who passed it in Missouri. I have constituents who ask me about that. They see the jet streams in the sky, the chemtrails,
right,
and they're pretty sure that there's chemicals or there's metals that are being put that's causing that chemtrail, and they want us to regulate it. So at the state level, it's different than what the federal jurisdiction is. The skies are controlled by the federal government through interstate commerce. But as a practical matter or as a principled matter, I think that if there's chemicals being sprayed in the air, I don't want anybody to do that. So if there's a bill that says, hey, you can't cloud seed or geoengineer or spray toxic chemicals, I'm okay with that. I don't think people should be exposed to that. They should, I'm big consent in what you breathe and ingest kind of person.
Yeah.
But we run into a jurisdictional issue with the EPA and FAA and the interstate commerce because at a certain altitude, the federal government has cleared the field to have jurisdiction over that. But in principle,
what about regular planes? Regular planes as a side thing, like a Delta flight somewhere, and they pay the pilot an extra $50 or so an hour or so, and so they give him money, and it's supposedly full of people, and they're still doing this
the geoengineering.
chem flames.
Yeah, chemtrails. So that's the example we're talking about. So that's why it's called Federal Regulations, FAA, because when Delta, for example, when they fly, all of that's federal law. Like when the Delta aircraft's above Missouri, when you smoke on the airplane, it's not a Missouri state violation. It's a federal law violation. Because so in Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, it lists the powers of Congress. It doesn't give Congress inherent environmental law or criminal law power. The state has that inherently, but Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce. So Congress has said interstate commerce includes environmental regulations. Congress has said by statute, interstate commerce is planes flying from state to state above a certain altitude. That's why if you smoke on an airplane, it's a federal law. You're over Missouri skies.
Well, who's controlling all the stuff that is coming out of these planes?
Well, that's my point, is that it's mainly...
How do they know how much of that stuff is in the air?
Well, it's primarily regulated by the federal government. There's a certain altitude, that's when we have discussion every year about drones, about at what point do drones become federally regulated, at what point are drones state regulated. We have that. Basically every year we have a discussion like that. But I mean, to your point, like a lot of my constituents are very suspicious about what's in the environment. And I think rightfully so. We talked on the show a couple weeks ago about how the American people just seem like they're sicker than normal. And so there's something to that. We want to get to the bottom of why people are sick, why they're achy, why they have these autoimmune disorders. But there is a problem in us passing a law like that when we buttress federal law, federal jurisdiction. And that's the piece that we need to work out.
Okay, so what about Texas? Now there were guys that were on X and or other outlets. They were talking about being those who were sending out streams of activity out there to agitate water, agitate clouds, and things like that. And then they had that huge water flood in Texas, where so many kids died, so many girls and campers and things like that, which they'd never seen before in 50 years that they've been doing this. And so this guy's admitting, saying, I did it. And, I stopped when they told me to. But what is, can that happen here?
Well, we're talking, just to interject, we're talking about a 1,000-year flood is what happened in Texas.
Right.
A 1,000-year flood is supposed to happen once every 1,000 years.
Like the 500-year one was in North Carolina.
Those environmental events happen, and they happen on a schedule associated with the probability of occurrence. And when you get a 1,000-year flood, it's because the meteorology at that point in time exists to create that amount of rain. And I think it's very presumptuous for the human population to say we can affect the weather, because I don't think that's possible.
Okay. What do you think?
I mean, I think the physics of being able to affect the weather exists. I mean, weather is a combination of high energy and low energy systems, right?
Yeah.
And so if there's high energy, that there's high pressure, and there's low pressure, right? That creates turbulence. Just like when you open your freezer, you see the air swirling around. That's because you have low energy, cold air with high energy, hot air. And so in a closed system like the Earth, this happens all over the place. So do I think physically, and I've read and I've looked, people have sent me the patents on geoengineering and government weather engineering. There's a physics behind it. So is it possible? If somebody were to ask me, like, scientifically, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. I think it's possible to affect the air by having different aerosols themselves are affected weather pattern because clouds bind to aerosols, right? And those aerosols hold energy differently. So is it possible? Yes. Is it also possible that the Earth is a very complex system and all kinds of stuff is happening? Yes. There is a more prevalence of 1,000-year floods, even 1,000-year floods and 1,000-year storms happening every year. So I think that as a government official, should I think about what's possible and look into that and say, okay, there's something different? Do I have an open mind about the causes and try to keep people safe? Yes, that's my perspective. So,
all right. So we really don't know, except that we don't really think that these things are going to affect these huge events that we're having with the weather lately. Now, yes, and I understand. Yeah, every year it gets hot, and every year it gets cold. But in 1 year, we're seeing within months a 50 or 500 year North Carolina flood and a 10,000 year or whatever it is flood in Texas. I don't know. Sounds like it needs more study to me.
Well, the one thing I would say about the weather is that when you look at one area like Missouri, for instance, or you look at the United States, even when you take that small an area in terms of global weather, your ability to have an impact is minimal, because we're talking about systems that generate all over the entire Earth, and what exists in Missouri today existed in the Pacific Ocean 5 days ago. And you have to consider a much larger global scale if you're going to try to control the weather.
Could that be?
No, not at this point in time. Could it be in the future? Yeah, it's possible, maybe.
All right. I top that one off.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say conclusively I know. I do think that so if you're asking me physically, is it possible to manipulate the weather? Yeah, that's what weather is. It's being physically manipulated by the sun, by changing the sun.
Right.
It can be chemically, environmentally change our environment. I think that we physically can. Do I know to what extent we have the ability to do that? I don't. But I also know that we don't know. I mean, as a student of science history too, we don't actually know what technology exists for things right now.
Is there evidence that they're telling us to take all the dye and stuff off of food?
Yeah.
So is there evidence that that some of this is being sprayed from above?
Well,
that's a weather thing, isn't it?
Well, I personally have no doubt that, and I think there's a combination of things that people are interact with, and toxins and their food and residual herbicides and pesticides. I think there's a combination of things that exist, but I think there's no doubt to me that the rise in cancer, the rise in autoimmune, the rise in general sickness, the rise in those problems is because of something that mankind has done to ourselves environmentally. Because these problems did not exist 100 years ago, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't this rate of these illnesses, and developmental disabilities 50 years ago. There wasn't this rate 30 years ago. There wasn't this rate of cancer 10 years ago. So we have done something environmentally to ourselves. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
How about pandemics, COVID-19? How about the mRNA, I think it is, drugs? How about those being put into animals that we're eating?
Yeah, so messenger RNA is genetic material, and genetic material is made up of those four, peptides, and so it goes to your cells and instructs your cells to do a certain thing. In the case of the COVID shot, it instructed your cells to produce a spike protein, and what we're told is that could produce an antibody that will give you some immunity or some resistance. But mRNA cannot just make a spike protein. mRNA can make your cells express anything. Elon Musk talks about that. You can change your hair color, your eye color. So if there's a mechanism that exists that people are getting that in their body, and their cells are being instructed to do something, you have to have consent of the person. That's my general ethical principle.
Oh, sure.
So I think that the food or medicine that has that property, the property to make a certain gene expression.
But we still have people being fired because they won't take the shot.
Yeah, I think that's ethically wrong.
Of course it is.
I think that informed consent, and I'll try to file more legislation on this next year.
Yeah.
We're going to do ivermectin, and we're going to do informed consent for gene therapies and take another run at it. And I think that's what, when you think about all the technologies that are emerging, future technologies, I think it's critically important that we do that.
What are you thinking about for ivermectin?
I think ivermectin should be over the counter.
Yeah, ivermectin is one. I raise horses. I raise horses, and ivermectin is one of the best worming medicines available for horses.
Well, and I don't just file bills kind of randomly. I try my best to really listen to my constituents and go and listen to people. And the week doesn't go by now where I'm not sitting at a coffee shop or I'm talking to people on the street and they're telling me about they went to go to the feed store or their veterinarian and ivermectin cured the skin element on their hand, or they had a parasitic infection, or in a lot of cases, there are people who tell me that it helped them with cancer.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying to fathom why it's not over the counter in Missouri. The best way I could fathom is that Pfizer's not making money off of it.
Competition.
Well, ivermectin is available over the counter for livestock.
People can get it.
It is. In fact, you can get. I buy it all the time for worming horses.
Sure.
Well, you could. So I've been thinking a lot about why it's not over the counter for people,
for human consumption,
and why it's not over the counter at Walgreens and Walmart. And so the argument that I might hear from the folks in Jeff City is that what has toxicity. Well, hydrogen peroxide has toxicity. If you drink a lot of hydrogen peroxide, it's going to make you sick. But we let people have hydrogen peroxide because it has a lot of medicinal and cleaning value and astringent value, right? Rubbing alcohol is toxic, but rubbing alcohol is an important antiseptic and extrinsic. So if ivermectin, you drink too much of it, it's going to give you a stomach ache. That's not a reason why we shouldn't have it over the counter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm very interested though in the legal situation that people have had by being forced to take ivermectin and being forced out of their jobs if they won't.
You mean mRNA?
Yeah, mRNA.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, ivermectin.
Not ivermectin. Yes, mRNA. Yes. And the suffering and illnesses and loss of life that they suffered because they were made to take the mRNA.
No, I think about that. Where there are Democrats to this day that are arguing with me about that, about how I'm anti-science, and it drives me crazy because then I want to say, well, then explain the science to me.
Yeah.
You explain the science of why that was superior than T cells and natural immunity. There's no science to it. Explain the science of how there isn't this risk posed by making your cells do something your cells haven't done your whole life. There's no science to that.
Right.
And besides the fact that and I'm not saying that we shouldn't invent new technologies. I think that we should explore different technologies, but we should never force, and this is a bioethic, this is part of what I do. This is why I'm where I am.
Yeah.
We should never force those technologies on other people when they don't want them and they don't have their consent, ever.
Yeah.
And in this case, you forced a technology on people that didn't keep them from getting the sickness, didn't keep them from spreading it, and caused a lot of them. And the reason why I was thinking this on the way in, by the way, I was going behind a truck going through Rolla, and I went up the hill and I heard an ad, and the ad on the radio, and it said, the person was like, "Oh, my heart is palpitating."
Yeah.
And they go, "Heart palpitations in young people are very common. Come in to see your doctor and request this drug from Pfizer to fix his heart palpitation."
Yeah.
And that's why I was thinking, actually, just driving in here, listening to that. And I go, heart palpitations in young people were never common, ever.
Yeah, it's a sign something's really wrong.
Do you know how many teenagers I've seen have heart attacks growing up? None. It could happen, but it was almost completely rare.
Yeah.
But now almost everybody has it's just so frequent. And so that's what made me spur this idea of, we filed the bill before, but I was just thinking as I walked the elevator, I'm filing that bill again.
Yeah.
We're doing informed consent. This isn't the last thing that's going to be invented. And people should always have a decision with any medicine, with any treatment, with any technology. Based on the risk and my knowledge, do I want to do this or not?
All right, let me go to the board here. Shannon Reed. During the worst part of COVID, the feed store couldn't hardly keep ivermectin on the shelf. And there was another one from Shannon, I believe, and also Andrea Shrum. There is a test you can get through LabCorp to measure the amount of spike protein in your body. That's another thing. If people have that, how do you get rid of it? But let me cover the first one. You guys can remember that because you're smart. There are warning labels on just about any livestock medicine. One of the largest warnings is to women and pregnancy. I'm in support of the medicines, but not everything is for human use. The livestock need it. Okay.
Well, that's definitely true. And when you have livestock, you get involved. You take care of your livestock, and that means you often give them some type of pharmaceutical. Every pharmaceutical you ever get in livestock says not for human consumption. Okay. And I think that's a fair assessment. It should be that way until there's sufficient testing to say that is acceptable to take in these doses for people. And I don't think that's ever been done for ivermectin.
I mean, there are people who've been prescribed ivermectin. Like, for example, people that have autoimmune disorders like lupus.
Yeah.
And there's a human dosage and there's a human sort of modulation for it or formulation. And there are people who take prescribed ivermectin. But when COVID came along, and this is one of the first things that medical professionals talked to me about, it became almost impossible for people to get ivermectin prescribed at that point. And that was, I think, because that they were getting paid for certain other treatments.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and so there are people who do go to the feed store and say, I got it there, but they went to their other doctor and they said, how many drops do I take? This small amount. So, but my point is not that ivermectin is always cure all, always good all the time. I'm not comfortable saying that. My point is that it should be available to people.
Well,
and if they and the reasons why it's not available are not because, well, it could have these adverse effects in these dosages, because we sell bleach over the counter, right? But people don't, you know what I'm saying? So that's not the argument. The real reason why it's not available is a financial reason for the pharmaceutical industry.
I think one of the biggest incentives for COVID was that the pharmaceuticals were making billions of dollars.
Right.
I think that's why everybody had to take it.
Well, here, I agree with that. I took it.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, was it ever really tested? Ivermectin?
Well, for people, I think there's been some testing. I have never seen a
Andrea Shrum has a comment on that right here.
Yeah, go ahead. Ivermectin has been used in humans for years. Okay, fine.
But I think that's the point, right? That's what's important about informed consent. If you want to take ivermectin and you know there are certain human risks, but you have that decision to make, whereas the mRNA, they're not even revealing to you what's even in the vaccines.
That's exactly my point. It should be up to you. Right. If you want to take ivermectin, take ivermectin. Yep. I'm going to try to make the law in Missouri so it's available to you to take it. If you don't want to take the COVID shot, nobody should have ever forced you to take the COVID shot. Yep. That is my point precisely.
Well, how about all these doctors, even Siegel on Fox News, and Fauci, you take one shot and you're done. Okay, where is their accountability for what they said? I don't hear anybody apologizing for that, because people went on to get it and get it and get it and get more shots and more shots and more shots and more mRNA in their bodies. While the companies, and I own some of these companies, while they're making a fortune.
Right.
Go ahead.
I gotta go. I gotta go to my next event. I do have to go.
Yeah.
I do have to go. I ran over time, but I have another.
Well, you were late.
Well, I'm going to be late for the next thing too.
Well, all right.
So this is why I'm late. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
All right. Love you guys. See you.
All right.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Right. He gets to talk about his books now.
Great exit.
See you later.
Yeah, see you.
That was pretty funny. That was the best exit I've ever seen. So what do you got?
Well, okay. Last time I was here, we were talking about publishing a couple of books. Well, those have been published. The last Buffalo, the last Buffalo in Kansas was published May 13th, and this one was published 2 weeks ago. Actually, a week ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the exact way it looks?
Yes, that is the book.
Really cool.
Yeah. That is the first of a 4-group children's nature series. And that book was published by Covenant Publishing. And what I gave you there, Dave, is called a sell sheet.
Okay.
And you use that in talking with bookstores. And in some cases, in signing events, the sell sheet will be available.
So you're talking to bookstores to sell your book.
Yes,
is that correct?
It's promotion and marketing. Okay, that's the.
Have you already agreed with them that they're going to sell your book?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're going there and telling them this is how to sell it.
This is what the marketing firm has done in putting some of the marketing together for the dog, for the Adventures of
And
Dog.
you didn't help them?
Well, sure I did.
Okay.
I mean, I gave them all the information to put on the sell sheet.
And did they agree with it all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They pretty well have to. It's my book.
Why do they have to?
Because it's my
book. They could say, we don't like this, it's not going to sell.
Look who says that copyright up there.
Author Bob Lewis? Wait a minute. No. Where's the copyright? I don't see it. Where? Oh, well. Yeah. Copyright. By Bob Willis. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I could have guessed that, but it wasn't on here that I could see. You asked me questions and they weren't even there. Okay, so
let me talk just a
keep
little.
Going.
Let me talk just a little bit about.
Stop you from talking.
About
okay.
Yeah. Just hang on for a second. Now, in marketing books has really changed over the years. Used to be you'd go to a publisher and they would agree that this was a good story and they would publish it and they would send it out through their channels and it would eventually make its way to the public through the bookstores. Yeah. And that's not the way it works anymore. Today, the vast majority of books are sold on the internet.
Yeah.
It's like 75%.
Amazon being the biggest.
Amazon is the biggest.
Yeah.
And there's actually 3 big online book companies. Barnes & Noble has an online, Apple has an online, and of course Amazon. Associated with the Adventures of Dog, we're going to do a 30-second trailer video. It's a trailer video that will be aired on those 3 platforms as well as on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And I will negotiate with Dave Weinbaum podcast to maybe get a video trailer on.
Of course, let's do it.
But so nowadays the bookstores are struggling a bit to get clients because of all the online sales.
Sure.
And I'm making a real effort with both of these books to get it into bookstores because I really think that walking into a bookstore and browsing through the various books is something that everybody ought to do.
Okay, so you're going back to the way it was. Is that a smart move, or is it just sentimental?
No, I'm doing both. I'm doing a lot of online advertising associated with the sales, but I'm going to try to help as many bookstores as possible and get as many titles. And the distribution on this particular book is Ingram Content Network.
Yeah.
Ingram Content Network is one of the largest distributors in the world.
Of books in bookstores?
Of books everywhere.
Everywhere, even online?
Yes. They have over 13,000 titles, and they deal with 475.
So how are you going to decide which ones, which stores get what? Based on, it has to be based on about what you think you can sell, right? You're just not going to overload the stores.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how you sell books.
Okay,
because it makes a difference. When you're actually in the mode of selling books, the best advertisement is word of mouth, by meeting people and talking to them. That is by far the best advertisement.
Well, you talk to me and you're on my show.
Yeah, and here we are.
Selling
books.
Selling books, yeah. But I like you.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes you, by the way.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, everybody likes Willis.
But so one of the things that you have to do as an author is to go out and meet people. Go out and have you don't sell a lot of books at a signing, but you meet a lot of people.
Sure.
And that enhances your ability to have some credibility with everybody. Right. And that's really what it's all about. And that's the same way with bookstores.
Yeah.
Achieving credibility with the people that are involved in the industry is important. And that's what you need to do.
All right. So they're all happy with you. No, wait a minute. I didn't like that.
I'm not sure who all is.
Well, the people that you're dealing with for your book.
Well, sure.
And telling them that, okay, you want to do a certain amount in-house in these physical stores of books.
I don't want to do a certain amount. I want to do everything that everybody wants to do. That's what I'll help them.
But you want to make a profit here.
I don't.
They do.
They do.
Of course.
And that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Why do you write books? Do you do it for money? Well, I don't really know that I've done it.
I don't think you've done it for money.
I haven't, because I'm losing money. but what I have done is I've gotten a lot of information out to actually millions of people.
But you're going to be a famous guy.
I don't know.
That's you're gonna leave your mark. Other than some of us who aren't going to get it out of our systems to do this. You're going to leave your mark. Everybody's going to have access to these books till the end of time.
Well, and that's interesting. You should say that, because there's a shelf life for books, and that's generally about 3 years, except in certain instances. And those instances are travel books, historic books, and children's books. And those are the kind of books I'm writing.
Well, and what about movies?
I have been asked to consider some movie rights, and I'll do that on down the line.
You're looking at kids' movies, for goodness sakes.
But first, I need to get all the children's books out there, and there's one more is coming out at the end of this year. 2 will be next year, and once all 4 of those books are out, then we can talk about that.
All right. So you're going to keep on writing?
Well, they're already written. Those manuscripts are written.
Okay.
All I have to do is get them published, and you can't publish 4 books at one time.
So would you ever call on AI to ask them what they think?
No.
Why?
AI is not people. AI is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And artificial intelligence, I don't believe can make a reasonable judgment about what's good for children, about what actually happened through our history. AI can't do that. And so I'm not going to rely on AI, nor can they travel the world.
Yeah.
And so I don't really rely on AI for anything, truly.
Okay. And you've traveled the world, being in how many countries, different countries, in the backwoods with the public that live there.
Yes.
Being guests in their homes, eating the food they eat, and probably learning some of the language, and then going off and fishing for the type of trout they have. So that's really cool.
Here comes a golfer.
And I was speaking of golf. Sit your butt over there. Look who's here. All right, this is going to be a really cool show. Now you got to speak loud because it's coming out of here. We have some technical difficulties.
Okay.
But
and this is Dax, incidentally.
Daxton, who's grown 5 inches since the last time I saw him, which is about a week ago. All right, how are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Just been playing golf.
Yeah. Did you play this morning? Are you playing now? Or what?
I'm gonna play later this evening.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Yeah, I talked to your mother about that because I like to bring you out whenever I'm golfing. I was going to ask you to come out yesterday.
Could I ask
Friday,
a question?
or Wednesday? Yes, go ahead.
I gave you a sleeve of Pro V1s for you.
Yes.
Have you ever seen that sleeve of Pro V1s?
I have. They're still in my. They're still there. No, wait a minute. He just gave me that.
Yeah, a week ago.
Well, I haven't seen him in a week.
I haven't seen him.
Okay.
And I asked him to come play with us, and he couldn't do it because he was busy. Well, I was getting to the point where I said to your mom, I says, I can understand it if he wants to go play with his friends. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But should I keep on calling him because he probably feels an obligation?
He doesn't want to play with old people. He wants to play with the kids his age.
I love playing with you. I was mountain biking that weekend.
Okay, all right. Well, see, now she says I should call him. And
Okay.
All right. So
get your Pro Vs is what I'm saying.
He really does like playing with me. You know why? Because I give him Bob Willis lessons. Lessons that you teach me.
You're such a good man.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. Yeah, say it louder. I don't think that hurt it. All right. So what is going on with all this stuff that's on here?
What you
Do
got?
I still got people contacting me?
That's the link to Bob's book. It's a long link from the
Holy cow
online store.
Woo! Boy, you were all linked up. He's got books, by the way, that are just terrific.
Yeah.
Take a quick look at that one right there. Now I know that's 2 to 10, and I know you're a little old for that, but just take a look at it.
Like Violet, my granddaughter would love that. She's 10, so maybe even Dawson.
Yeah, I would give Violet one of these. She'd probably love this.
Oh, she'd love that. I know. So, all right. So, what else you got for me, my friend? I got Mark McCloskey coming on. We can have a real hoot with him if you want to stay.
Let's.
Yes. Okay. So, tell me what's going on in your life because I haven't talked to you in a week.
I've just been golfing. I played like 2 days ago. I shot 2 over through 9. So that was pretty good.
2 over for the whole round?
Just through 9 because it's
Through
getting
9?
hard. But
what was that, 38?
Yeah.
Yeah, your mom told me that at St. James.
Mm-hmm.
38.
Here's some subjects that Dax would be really good at. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about tariffs?
Yeah.
Or I got.
Or what?
There's more. Do you want to talk about lawfare?
I'm gonna. If you want to talk about that,
about 2 minutes from now.
Yeah.
My time is almost up, right?
Well, yeah, somewhat. Yeah. You got here early, so. But I had to share you with Bill Hardwick.
You did.
So
Bill's a good guy.
Bill's a great guy.
Really
yes,
good
he
guy.
is. And my grandson is here, and he can hang out.
I got about 3 minutes left. Let's talk a little bit about lawfare.
Yes, please do. Yes.
Trump administration has been sued over and over and over for a variety of reasons.
Trump personally?
No, the Trump administration. But they're suing him over immigration. They're suing his administration.
Well, we know that. That goes on all the time.
Okay. But there's several things happening that are really kind of hard to believe.
Okay.
One of them is a judge, after the recent Supreme Court decision that
Boasberg,
that judges are limited in terms of the scope,
right?
Yeah, of the scope of what they can make a decision on. Yeah. One of those Supreme Court cases dealt with birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
Okay. And it said that district judges don't have the authority to issue nationwide injunctions associated with birthright citizenship. Well, last week, a judge said that birthright citizenship, as directed by the administration in Trump's executive orders, is saying that it was no longer valid. She said that his executive order was invalid and that she issued a nationwide injunction enjoining it. 2 weeks after the Supreme Court said that district courts can't issue nationwide injunctions. Okay, let's fast forward. This is even worse. There's a judge in Boston who issued a decision last week that said the big beautiful bill that was just passed has one section that says Medicare cannot fund abortions for a 1 year period. She said that was illegal, even though it's been signed into law by Congress, passed by Congress and signed by the executive order. She says that in fact, the Constitution requires that the government fund abortions. That was her decision.
It wasn't in the Constitution.
No, but that was her decision.
Yeah, right.
And she issued a TRO, a temporary restraining order, saying that you could not fund abortion with Medicare.
So has this gone to the Supreme Court yet?
No, and I'm sure it'll be appealed.
Yeah,
but just the fact that these judges don't follow the legal guidelines.
Well, the Constitution.
Well, but not only the Constitution, but the Supreme Court decisions.
Well,
the
that's
precedents.
Part of the Constitution.
The presidents.
They're supposed to rule on what's constitutional or not.
And the Supreme Court has, but the district judges are pretty well ignoring the Supreme Court and the Constitution. And what is going on is that the Democrats handpick their judges.
Sure.
The fact that
everybody does that.
Well, no, not really. If the way the courts are set up, if the action occurs in Washington D.C., it needs to be adjudicated in Washington D.C.
Hey, by the way, I got these great people up here.
Yeah, you need to get them.
All right, and you're welcome to stay. But
okay.
All right, it's very interesting.
I'll let Dax.
You come back next week because look at them. My God, they're so nice people. Anyways,
and they bought you dinner.
You know, some people give a name for their clubs, especially the bitching weds. You ever hear that?
I don't have one.
You don't even have. You can't even do that.
I don't have that.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, not to be belayed here, but these are the two bravest people I know who faced off 350 Antifa and BLM led by Congressman Cori Bush. Please welcome all the way from St. Louis, Mark and Pat McCloskey.
Come on.
Do we have it? Yeah. We're having some difficulties. Our mixer is not good. This is Bob Willis, and here's my grandson right over here, and that is Daxton Weinbaum. He's a golfer. This kid. Well, he's an athlete. You're wrestling too, right?
Yep.
Everybody.
What weight class do you wrestle?
Well, he wants to know what weight class you wrestle.
I was 106 last year.
106 last year.
This
Smallest guy in his team. And what did you wrestle?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wrestled in competition from when I was 5 until I was 25, and I was the youngest of a wrestling family. My dad went to Iowa, so we all had to wrestle. And
your dad wrestled in Iowa?
Wow. No, he actually he was in medical school, but that didn't stop him from making all of us wrestle. You know, we were on a workout routine from the time I was less than 5. We had to run every day. We had. Do you remember? My dad's two idols were Jack LaLanne and Robert Cummings, right? And so we had these. I don't know if Robert Cummings was a multivitamin, a massive vitamin freak. And so when I was a kid, instead of having breakfast, we had these big jars of vitamins lined up in the kitchen. Go in there, have your bone meal and your vitamin B12 and your B6 and thiamine and protein pills and all this kind of crap. And if you're lucky, you'd actually get a bowl of cereal afterwards. But yeah, we're.
So did you check those for mRNA?
Absolutely.
What the hell's going on? That was back a long time. I didn't know they had mRNA then.
Yeah, and you know, unlike your grandson, who's not allowed to shrink down as much as we used to. I played football at 185 pounds, but I wrestled at 132.
Well, he's 100 and he was 106 pounds. He's growing now.
I'm like 130 now.
Yeah,
he's like
way out of that
he's
class.
130 now, and he went to state his freshman year.
Really?
And he's also was the smallest guy. Is the smallest guy on his. I don't know if you're the smallest anymore on your golf team.
Yeah, I'm definitely the smallest.
He's definitely the smallest on his golf
Really?
team. So, and he went to state, two sports as a freshman. That's some kind of record, I think. So, anyways, what? This is my golf teacher here, Bob Willis.
I've been up since 2:00. I gotta go.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. All right, I appreciate you. Okay, he's my golf teacher. This guy, he beat he played against Tom Watson in college. So and there's JP, the greatest softball player of all time. Okay, now that we've gotten done with that, Fannie Willis, and I was going to use this for him. She just confessed to having records of communications with the 1-6 Pelosi operation to get rid of Trump. I'm pretty sure you know about this. What do you say?
Well, I think that the world's going to wake up here very quickly. I think that the Justice Department is about to reveal some very interesting information about all the conspiracy to do away with Trump, starting with the Russia investigation. I think we're going to get some breaking news here very quickly that's going to really it won't shock and amaze you, but will maybe have some influence in average American.
Yeah, it's almost what I got into a fight with the day we met and had lunch. So I had those St. Louis guys. They weren't having it.
Yeah,
and they hated you.
Well, yeah, well, shoot,
not her, but you. So, what's your concept of this, Pat?
Well, I mean, it's about time, and I hope that they go in both barrels, because I think people are so upset about Bondi. I mean, maybe this is a way out for them where they can, have some serious wins.
Was this sort of like now John Solomon? You've heard of him, right? The journalist, pretty good journalist, I think.
Yeah.
He said that don't worry about this Epstein stuff. They're getting ready for some big stuff, and they don't want that to interrupt, so to speak. And in about 5 or 6 days, like you're pointing at, you're going to see a lot of stuff happening that's going to shock you. Is that correct?
I was up in D.C. the day before yesterday, chatting with the powers that be, and I can't tell you what we were told in confidence, but I think the American people are going to get an awakening here pretty quickly. John Solomon's a great guy. He was at our table at the Reagan dinner at CPAC this year or last year. So, great guy.
All right. So you're going to break that sign of the show here?
No, I took a vow of silence. I'm like a Catholic priest here.
Really? Is that true, Pat? Is that true? Is he like a Catholic priest in all areas, or what? America wants to know.
You don't want to know. There's something you don't want to know.
Don't want to know. Some days you are, some days you aren't. Okay. We're going too deep into this. That's terrible. You know a guy named Tom Fenton?
Oh, yeah.
Fenton, yes.
Yeah. Suddenly he's my buddy. He's going to come on the show next week, he says.
Oh, that's great.
But he's pushing a bunch of my stuff on X. And so, and then he sends me a private message that included an interview with Matt Gaetz. Does that ring a bell?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Is that part of what's coming?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Did I get one?
Yeah. You got to ask Tom when you have him on the show how much time he spends in the gym. Okay.
Okay. He's a nut, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's a fit guy. He's not just not his name. He's genuinely a very fit guy.
Yeah, and he did the movie, which was Iron Man 3, and he was trying to connect that. And I saw that movie. It was a good movie, and he was trying to. He had to placate China or something. He was interested in making them happy. Mm-hmm. And then he discovered that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of that. Yeah. So, anyways, just wanted to know if you're up there with the big people. Did you see the president?
I did not see the president. He might have seen me, but we would have been at a great distance.
Yeah. Okay. Did you notice all his fingers none of them were standing up in the middle? Were they?
Well, I'm concerned about his vascular health, but I guess he had a clean bill of health the other day.
Yeah, he's got what all us old guys get, these things, these bumps there, and then your ankles get a little bigger and stuff like that. Yeah, in your case, your mouth gets a little bit bigger, and so all right. Anyways,
so one of the things that that's happening here, I don't know if you know my buddy George Santos, but he's supposed to report to prison here shortly, I think on the 24th.
Your buddy who?
George Santos, the former congressman from Nassau.
Yes. Yeah.
He did no more or less than an awful lot of people in Congress did in the way of kind of inflating the reality about his assets and his background and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But they gave him 7 years and 7 months. I mean, just for a first-time offender, and they've got him set up to go to a medium security prison, meaning a really tough place. And as he said on Tucker Carlson's show the other day, he's a gay man. He's not particularly fit. He's not a fighter. He's never been a rough and tumble guy. And here they're going to throw him in the snake pit with all these murderers and rapists and drug dealers for 7 years and 7 months. I'm hoping that our friends in D.C. will look favorably at his pardon application here before he has to go to prison.
Well, then you definitely, that would be terrible if he had to do that, obviously. But you have some real ammunition to get pretty good, let's say, representation to those who are pardoned.
Yeah.
From Trump, from the 1/6ers deal. Yeah.
So
when is that coming out? Is that coming out pretty soon?
I hope so. We had a good talk this week. Obviously the president's got some other things on his mind right now, and there's this conundrum last week with Dan Bongino walking out on his.
Yeah, what was that? Was that BS or what?
I don't know, but he showed back up for work on Monday.
They said he was taking a vacation.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, but you can't say do X or I quit, and then come back to work when X didn't happen, right? Because
I would think that would
like
get you kicked out.
Your wife takes a vacation for a few days to a hotel and comes back. I think it's about the same.
Wait a minute, that's happened.
It's a vacation.
She went to Mexico without me and her friends.
Well, when it's a vacation in the same town. That's something.
Oh.
So since you and my dad shared the same divorce lawyer, I'll tell this story.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he represented my father's second wife in their divorce, but my dad's coming back. He spent 3 days or something over Easter down in Florida, comes back and gets picked up by his wife at the airport, and he said to me, that 3 days without her made me understand just how happy I could be if she weren't there anymore.
Just like the airport now, when you come down the escalator at the St. Louis airport to get your luggage, it's got a lawyer standing there, a divorce lawyer standing there saying, happy to be home or not.
I can see him doing that. You're great people. You're kind of weird, I gotta tell you. So, what evidence do you know about the assassination attempts on Trump, and that some in the three-letter agencies, politics, and all that may have made of this to kill Donald Trump?
Well, I can tell you this: that from the get-go, the Butler County thing appeared to me to be an inside job. And Corey Mills, who I don't know if you've had him on the show, but he's an ex sniper for the Army, for the government. He was a counter sniper guy when he was in the service. My information came from him, and he's on a talk show saying, when so many things go so obviously wrong, it crosses a border between incompetence and intentional act. And the Crooks guy his body gets cremated before he can be autopsied.
Yeah.
They hose down the roof. Apparently all his cell phones, he had like 15 cell phones with foreign servers, and none of that stuff comes out, and they just sweep it all literally under the carpet. And then a couple of months later, there's this guy with training in Ukraine shows up at the golf course. He's hiding in the bushes at the place where the media takes pictures of the president because it's the closest you can get to him. He's there for 12 hours. He's got his nummy sack hanging on the fence so he doesn't get hungry while he's attempting to kill the president for 12 hours. And then my favorite part, by the way, everybody talks about how he was within 400 feet of where the president was going to be. I don't know if you've seen that golf course, but you go from the fourth hole to the fifth hole, you got to drive right by that fence. I mean, there's a golf cart path. You got to go right by that damn fence. And then the Secret Service agent allegedly sees him, puts off 5 shots, and misses him. What kind of people are these in the Secret Service? If you got a guy not too very far away and you shoot at him 5 times and you don't hit him, and those guys from Butler, 6 of them, what do they get suspended, right?
Yeah.
They don't go to jail. They don't get investigated.
Wait, one of them he's the head guy now.
He is.
Yeah.
The thing is, my stepbrother, he runs a drone service for the Butler and Beaver County Police. That's all he does. That's his job for a living. And they never even asked him to run the drones that day. And he would have been the guy to do it, or his company. And they had some woman, the only drone that they had that day in Butler was some woman who got 1 hour's worth of training, that worked with the Secret Service, and she couldn't get it to work. I mean, they could have asked his company. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Like if there's a missing person, that's what he does in Beaver County.
So is there any, do you have any guess as to who was responsible for this? Was it someone in the CIA? Was it rogue setup? Some rogues?
I think you're going to find out here.
Iran.
I think you're going to find out here in the near future that guys like Clapper and Brennan were, they were no friends of Donald Trump as they are not still. And that I kind of get the impression, as one of my employees used to say, I kind of get the impression that they may have been doing everything they could, having failed at every other way of eliminating him from the presidential race, just have him killed. I mean, the CIA wasn't above killing presidents back when Kennedy was president.
Did you see the interview with the CIA guy Brennan? And he implicated that. To me, it sounded like he was implicating Obama. That he was actually putting it back on Obama that this happened.
Yeah.
So that's where they're going. I think
it
wasn't our fault.
I think they're going to start pointing fingers at each other. I think people are going to start getting tossed under the bus here pretty quickly.
Well, that's a great sign.
Yeah.
So, so Maureen Comey fired by DOJ. Will you and or Pat hire her?
She does such a great job too.
Oh well, yeah. She lost a few, but I'm sure somewhere she's won a few. So she could defend her daddy.
There you go.
and it would be like the maternity case in Indiana. Who's your daddy?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I like the congresswoman that married her brother so he could get into the country, right?
Yeah. Or the AG that said her father was really her.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So no Epstein's files. You feel safe?
Well, this Maxwell woman needs to get released from prison now, right? Because the official story is now there's no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein had sex with anybody, and therefore she needs to get let out, right?
Well, she was convicted of stuff.
Well, of course, but there's no evidence now. We were told there are thousands, tens of thousands of hours of Epstein abusing.
Well, wait a minute. Don't we have? I was asking Willis about this too, but don't they have cases against some of these people who the victims are out there suing him?
Yeah,
and it's local law.
Yeah,
right.
Well, there's at least one or two I know that have filed civil suits against him.
Yeah.
But now the government
one had to commit suicide.
Yeah.
After she got her money.
Yeah. I mean, and I will venture out on the long thin end of the tree branch here and have everybody hate me. This Prince Andrew thing where he allegedly had sex with a 17-year-old girl. Well, first of all, she was doing this for money. She didn't show up there on accident. You get on a rich guy's private jet to fly to his island with a bunch of guys twice your age. You probably know what you're there for.
When she was in New York, she was a hooker on the street.
Okay.
And so this isn't some Catholic schoolgirl who was snatched off the street by these evil people. She was a 17-year-old hooker who was working her trade, and it just how old was Marie Antoinette, right? 14 or something. How old was Catherine the Great when she married Archduke Peter? She was 14. I mean, it used to be a different world. Now everybody's a sexual predator.
Well, you can walk by your house and see some of the belongings of those people. For God's sakes, that's what I love about it. All right. I don't know if I should have thrown that in there or not.
I wouldn't have.
Probably not. You said I could speak about it, but all right. I take it all back. Don't listen to that. Can you erase that from the record somehow? Okay. All right. So this Boasberg guy, he's trying to trap John Roberts on his opinions regarding federal judges trying to be the president. So what's going on with that?
Boasberg's really a bad guy. He's a guy that sentenced our friend Ryan Zink.
Sure.
He was a judge in a lot of my J6ers cases. He's been doing everything he can to become president of the United States by virtue of being a district judge. And the Supreme Court has now ruled 3 Fridays ago that the district judges cannot issue nationwide injunctions, and they're not superior to the President of the United States or the Supreme Court, but they're continuing to do it.
Yeah.
And so, we're really in a kind of a desperate situation. When you go to law school, or even in college, when you're learning about American history and the government, one of the things that is always mentioned is that the judiciary doesn't have an army or a police force. The only reason why we have a judicial review ability is because people have respect for and behave the rulings of the court. And the Supreme Court doesn't have an army, police court doesn't have a police department. All you can do is hope that the American people will respect the opinions of the court and follow it. And when I say American people, I also mean the inferior courts. But
they're showing they can't be trusted, though. They cannot be trusted to uphold the Constitution and uphold what their power is compared to a president.
Well, here's the thing. The Article 3 of the Constitution, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's pretty close, says the judicial power of the United States will be vested in one Supreme Court and such inferior courts as Congress may from time to time determine, right? Everything except the Supreme Court exists at the whim of the Congress. Congress could completely do away with the inferior courts. Congress could certainly do away with the D.C. District Court, do away with all those judges, and for that matter, the D.C. Circuit. And I think something like that would be of tremendous benefit because these people, you're not supposed to, as a lawyer, you're not supposed to say anything negative about judges because all judges are wonderful, godlike creatures. But there's really a soft revolution going on right now between the Supreme Court and the district judges and some of the circuits where they're just thumbing their noses at the big guys. Yeah. And we're going to do as we damn well please.
Well, so where does this end? Where does this come out? And what's going to happen when some of these people get hung by real laws that are really going to be tried by certain judges that are going to convict some of these people, maybe even some of the judges too?
You would think so. And one of the things we always have to remind ourselves is that these judges are lawyers, and lawyers have ethical rules, and they've got duties, and they've got associations that license them.
Lawyers have ethical rules? Okay, sorry.
Somebody told me that once.
Pat, did you tell them that? Yeah, she's out there working. She knows better.
But you know, I can't tell you how many of my clients at J6ers have relayed the stories about how their judges have opined on their guilt before any evidence came out. Right? That you're guilty. That they refer to them as treasonous or insurrectionists, even in front of juries before any evidence has come.
Sure.
That's completely improper. Those judges should lose their positions over that. And then you've got
that's
that's
not enough punishment for that.
I'm sorry?
That's not enough punishment.
No.
They're ruining people's lives, these judges. And they know they're doing it. It's not like it was an accident.
And unless some people actually go to jail, I mean, I rant on this all the time, but the most obvious thing is Mark Milley and Nancy Pelosi when they staged the coup on January 5th of 2021.
Yes.
And what does Pete Hegseth want to do? He wants to reduce Milley by 1 star. Whoa, there's tough action. You know, treason is a capital offense.
You know, I played clips of our meeting that week of when you were on the show. I did clips of it from the show, and suddenly the mixer went out and we couldn't play the damn clips except for the first two. Where you're talking about Megyn Kelly or somebody has an idea that they should try these people as with the criminal code and not just with the opinions of people, and try them and go through the process and then jail them if necessary.
Or, you know, and even more so, here's my belief. You know, when they were in charge, they would arrest people like the J6ers. They'd kick in their doors at 6 o'clock in the morning, point machine guns at their whole family and their minor children, even a kid in the crib, right? And then throw them in jail and let them try to get themselves out of jail. Well, you know, we've got better goods on the left than they had any of these J6ers, because the vast majority of these J6ers just walk through open doors, being waved in by Capitol Police, fist bumping them, singing the national anthem, chanting USA, USA, and walking out. And they get treated like you know, John Dillinger or worse. And then we've got all these Democrats and the judges and the prosecutors and the people in the CIA and the FBI, all the way up to Merrick Garland, who are actually conspiring against the president of the United States and the American people.
Yeah.
Today, throw them in jail, let them find a way out, just like they did to so many other honest Republicans.
Damn right. You're absolutely correct. And hopefully that would solve the problem of what they tried to do, which is basically a coup of the country.
Yeah, and it would certainly restore the respect of the American people for the government.
Certainly would. All right. Well, other than the Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you? By the way, TikTok kicked me off. I'm so proud. They never said. They never said. And I was getting tons of attention for you guys and for everyone else. The guy I got my show got like 27,000 hits. And I was getting a bunch of hits. You were getting a bunch of hits on TikTok. I'm still on the other one, which is YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I guess the Chinese government didn't like what we were saying, huh, Dave?
No. So yeah. And you know what? They kicked me off. So no more chop suey for me. And so you know where you can put your chopsticks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Please.
Yeah. Well, you know,
anyways,
I'll give somebody a cheap plug. There's this place down there by Fort Leonard Wood that you've seen all the time, where their billboards say the best cut fudge comes from Uranus.
Yes, I know all about that. I once did a comedy act there. It was a scrub joint too, by the way.
It used to be. Yeah.
Anyways, other than the Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find both of you and maybe hire you?
Sure. My law firm's website is McCloskeylaw.com, McCloskeylaw.com. You can catch me on X at McCloskey USA. You can catch my old shows since I'm too busy to do radio anymore, unlike Mr. Weinbaum. You can catch my old shows at Rumble on Rumble at Mark McCloskey on Fire. And I'll go ahead and I'll give everybody my cell phone number because I'm the bravest guy on the planet. It's 314-580-3185. You need J6ers out there. We need to have a show of strength. We need to send a message to President Trump that the compensation for J6ers needs to start. It needs to start right now, that there are people out there living out of their cars, having a hard time making their miracle happen. And President Trump, we need to fix this situation right now.
Yeah, in walks my wife right there. Say hi to the McCloskies because we got about 34 seconds here. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being stars on the Dave Weinbaum Show and being friends, too.
It's our pleasure. Next time you're in town, I'll buy you another lunch.
Hey, that's terrific. And I'll look away like I did last time. No, I didn't do that. You surprised me. All right, thank you so much. We're about done here, and I'm sad that we didn't have the right equipment to fix it, but we're gonna fix this show. And it was a good show, I thought. It was a real test for me. We'll be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show next week.